back corner when I'm not presenting.
Listening in.
And listen in.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bash University Live here on Tuesday night.
Take a quick break, watch John Cruz's on the Tokyo rig.
Be a part of the show, get some chances to win some awesome prizes.
As Bash you go. You know, we didn't have that back then. Dude, it could just...
That text thread gives me so much energy. I mean, like I'm dialed. Ooh, I love it.
Way to watch for my signals, Pete. And you're live.
It's harder to see my signals when I'm doing it from this phone, but it's good to be here with you guys tonight. We got another Bash University Live tonight. Really excited about tonight's show. We're gonna be doing some really cool stuff. We're gonna have a Bash University roundtable, and we're gonna be talking to all the guys on Bash University about where we're catching, what we're doing, and we're gonna be talking to you guys. So we want you guys to bring your questions. What do you guys want to talk about? What is the winter fishing in your area right now? What are you most looking forward to coming up in this spring? Let's hear it, man. Let's hear what you're getting ready for. So we've got that going on tonight with all our boys, and we're going to be having Frankie Provolone, our boy from Slade Nation, is going to be coming on and talking with us tonight, as well as the Eco Bass Angler, a good friend of the show, coming off of a hot fishing season this year. We're going to be having our buddy Craig Duran come on and talk with us. So it's going to be a great show, guys. Hang out with us. We got all kinds of cool prizes and things that we're going to be giving away and doing here on tonight's show. And just want to give a shout out to all the boys. Sorry I missed the signal, BTC. I missed you, but it's good to be here.
Oh, Pete, I was not surprised that you missed that signal.
Because it was so subtle and hard to detect.
Pete. 5 seconds, 4, 3, Pete. All right. Prison rules it is.
That's right. Well, we got it. And I appreciate you. Appreciate you getting us up and running. And Riz, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you for like a whole day.
I know it's.
He said, "I miss your face."
Yeah, it seems like it's been forever, Pete. Great day yesterday down there on the Chesapeake for us, filming some awesome new Bash UTV content that'll be hitting the airwaves here very soon. It's gonna be a good one, guys. If you're local to this area, it's gonna be one that you're going to want to watch. It's a popular technique. The blade bait dominates certain times of the year, and we dove into that topic exactly yesterday. So stay tuned to see that one on Bash UTV. It's going to be hitting the editing suite here pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. As always, guys, we got 3 new videos dropping a week for you on Bash UTV, in addition to our over 900 videos on Bash UTV that you get full access to as a member of the program. If you're not, right now is a great time to get signed up for Bash UTV. Get 6 months for only $49.99 during our Cyber Monday deal, which we actually extended out another week after Cyber Monday was over because it was so successful and people are signing up for BUTV, and we're looking to grow this bass fishing family. So, guys, head over to bashu.tv, get signed up. That's how you can interact with us on tonight's show. We're going to be giving away a grand prize at the end of the show tonight. It's a $150 prize pack to TH Marine. There's a G-Force Cull System, G-Juice, TH Marine Wave Away, Troll Jacket, you name it, it's in there. Guys, so get signed up. You're going to have a chance to win that at the end of tonight's show. If you're watching over there on Facebook, we got a prize pack for you, too. That's a $50 sponsor pack. All you got to do is like and share tonight's feed over there on the Facebook airwaves, and you'll be entered in for a chance to win that, in addition to 2 Gills Gear gift cards that we'll be giving away during tonight's show to 2 lucky subscribers that ask us questions during the show that we decide to use. So, guys, it's a great time to get signed up. If you're not already a BUTV member, now's the time. 6 months for $50.
Absolutely. Nicely done, Rich. And look forward to you stepping into your new role. We need to talk about that a little bit tonight. Riz was behind the camera looking very comfortable as a videographer. But we'll talk a little bit about that, what that experience was like, because you looked good doing it. But it's good to have you with us. I see JK's over there zooming in from Georgia. How are you, buddy?
Oh, man, wonderful. Cannot wait to talk, at least a little bit of vertical fishing. It's that time of year. I know I've been thinking about it. I know a lot of the guys back home here, we've started our team derby season as soon as it pretty much ended, and had a fun event this weekend. And I may or may not have caught a nice bass or two vertically this weekend. Excited about it, and ready for it to continue to get colder so those fish stack up and drop some metal in their face.
Yes. Well, I love fishing this time of year, man. It's a unique way to fish. And, fishing vertically for them is really an effective way because it's so cold. The fish are all grouped up. They're ganged up under the shad, the bait, herring, whatever you're fishing around. Mm-hmm. And that repetitive drop and lift, it just, it can aggravate fish into biting when sometimes it's the only way you can catch them. So,
right.
We're going to be talking about that. And we're going to be talking about some experiences. Man, I've had some wonderful experiences down in your part of the country this time of year, catching big numbers of fish deep vertically. And we've got Alex with us, hanging out on YouTube, stalking all the social media. Alex, good to have you with us, buddy.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, Pete. I'm especially excited to hear about the vertical fishing, and especially without the use of a forward-facing sonar. We know that's so popular for everyone, but not everybody's got the fancy stuff on their boat. So for the folks in the ice age of 2D sonar, I'm excited to learn a little about how I can drop on those fish out there.
Dude, don't call us ice age, man. I love my 2D sonar, man. I'm married to it. I would not be able to survive without that.
Same.
It's so comfortable for me, and it's funny because I know I like the down imaging, and of course I live on the side imaging stuff when I'm practicing, and there's so much that I've adapted into my game. But every single moment of every single fishing day, I've got a screen with 2D on that I'm looking at for bottom hardness, depth, bait. That's where my eyes are gravitate to. You know what's interesting? I had to learn the 360, and 360 is one of the most amazing tools, the Humminbird 360. If you haven't used it or seen it, you got to go check it out. But I was having a hard time. It took me longer than I wanted to for me to get comfortable with it, mainly because I kept my eyes, when I would look at the sonar, my eyes would immediately go to the 2D. Mm-hmm. I had the 360 on and I wasn't even looking at it. And I literally, in order to learn, I had to turn off my 2D, turn off everything, and just let that 360 play until I figured it out and dialed that one in. And I'm still dialing it in, but it's a tremendous tool. But
sure
I've been staring at it for longer than Craig Duran has, who's with us here tonight, which is which is a long time, man.
Yeah, we go back a long way, Pete.
Yeah.
I think that's when Pete had that big wood boat that Brian talks about.
Yeah.
Across the Delaware in it.
Yeah.
But I've been doing a lot of cold water fishing, man. I've been out there quite a bit. And, I come to think about, longevity, man, he just didn't do it like 10 years ago so much, in the last 10 years, really hitting it and enjoying it. Like you said, as the fish group up and becomes very predictable. And enjoying it, it's pretty cool. Here in this area, you don't know what you're going to get. The beginning of December can really come in hard, but if you look at the forecast, there's 50s. We're trudging along all next week. I'm thinking about how I'm going to get out and where I'm going to go, and it's cool. It's far from over, that's for sure.
Yeah, till the ice comes, it's a long way away.
Well, I tell you, man, I've got them on the edge of ice. I mean, I've actually broke a little bit of ice and then fished. You know what I mean? You get a little desperate, but
Pete invented ice.
Yeah, Pete invented ice.
That's true.
Got ice in his veins,
Yeah,
man.
he was around for the first ice age. And
That's why I had that one boat.
That's funny. You guys are funny tonight. Well, we were fishing. We had Oliver Nye on the last show. I invite you guys to go check that out. That was fun. Ike was with us, and we were talking about big baits, but we were goofing around, and we were throwing them big giant swim baits on the ice, trying to see if we could coax some big bass into breaking through the ice for a topwater strike with a 10-inch Defiant, swim bait. But go back and check that out, guys. I love fishing in the winter. I know BTC, you were saying that too. It surprised me that you say this time of year, that's your favorite time of year to fish.
yeah. Well, I mean, multiple reasons. One, most guys are in a tree stand or watching a stupid football game, so that gets half the people off the water.
It's true.
It really is.
Yeah.
And springtime for me personally with my business has always been off the hook, and I barely ever get to see a bass spawn. So I think I've seen one in the last 10, 15 years. So spring's always out, but fall, I like the fall, man.
Yeah.
And plus it
like it
bunches
too.
them up, and if you find them, it's a good time. Just
It
gotta stay
really
warm.
is.
Yeah. Makes you better. I think fishing during the cold months, it makes you a better angler in the warm months, in the sense that, like, from like a technique perspective, and like, when things get cold and the bite gets trickier, yeah, they get grouped up, but they definitely can become harder to catch with the colder water temperatures. And I feel like having to grind through that and kind of like figure out how to get a bite and stay mentally sharp in an 8-hour tournament where you're only getting 5 or 6 bites and your hands are frozen. Come springtime, when things start warming up, it's easy, and it's like you stay sharp and on your game throughout the winter. When you make that first cast in the springtime, you're not backlashing your first 3 reels. You've been doing it throughout the entire winter, so it
but they never had
to.
They've been fishing the entire winter in nice weather down south.
I guess this is true.
But there's still
Justin
that
season
element.
just started.
Yeah, we just started. It all runs together. But BTC, you guys both mentioned something, and I think for the tournament guy, you've got, like, look at Ike. He's never been a hunter. He's never been into football hardcore or anything. Like, he's always fishing in the winter. I mean, he'd come home, fish those winter derbies.
Yep.
And I think if you're somebody who, like Rich says, can stay sharp and on your game, some guys need a break. I get it, but trust me, I'm as the tournament fisherman, I'm like what BTC said. It's not just about enjoying the fall. I love that people take that break.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of catching up to do, not just organization wise, but your mechanics. I don't care who you are. If you take a 1 or 2 month break, your mechanics get a little sloppy.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I
yeah.
I agree, and I've suffered with that. I know, it's been
Rust.
a challenge when you get out there. They always send us to Florida, and it's weird to be complaining about that, right? So nobody cares about me complaining, but going to Florida in January. But that's what would happen is, you got to get your boat together, you got to get all your sponsorships in order, and it seems like you're in the office through the winter. And then next thing you know, you're in shorts, trying to remember how to catch a bass, just like you said, a little rusty. And I got caught not prepared a few years, getting started early down there. But it's cool that, JK, man, you guys have great wintertime fishing all through the winter. And
Sometimes
even
in winter, it just goes straight from fall patterns to pre-spawn. They don't even leave creeks.
Yep. A little shout out to Jeffrey Olson, hanging out down there on Lake Hartwell, fishing around the shad, learning how to crankbait fish, walking out to the end of his dock on his, brand new dock right on the lake, getting to go out and fish every evening until the sun goes down. I think we're going to have to dock his pay this year. JK.
Days in a row, did he say he fished already?
He said he has
There's been like one day that he hasn't. Like, that's it. Only one that he hasn't fished. So
he said 60 days in a row he's gone out and
Wow.
at least made a cast.
Oh, I believe it too, because when you walk down on his dock, it's like a fishing rod cemetery. There's just broken rods laying everywhere, every direction. There's rods with broken tips, shattered in the middle, and then you get on the boat with him, and he's got rods laying in every single direction
Like
as he's
pickup sticks.
going in and out of those docks. And I'm like, huh, okay, this makes sense now.
Like somebody dumped a box of spaghetti in a bowl.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, just
That's funny.
love it.
That's got to be his plan. Jeff's. I mean, he doesn't really need an excuse to buy new stuff, but he's. I guess that's a reason. If he breaks all his rods, he has to buy new ones.
That's exactly right, Pete.
Favorite thing.
It kills me when people get mad because they broke a rod. I'm like, now you get to have a new one.
Yeah.
Right? You'd never get a new one if you didn't break a rod.
Yeah, that's right. Don't listen, Jeff. Stop. Stop with the purchases. But that's got to be awesome. I'm so pleased that he's got that place down there. And matter of fact, because he's down there and our production offices have moved down there, you guys are going to be doing some filming this week, JK. What's going on?
Second film trip. We filmed with Brandon Cobb, and we'll talk about that seminar tonight, that we released today. But we got some great, I think 4 with him on that shoot. And then this week we're going to film with Jared Lintner, who has just transplanted from California to Georgia. And so we're going to everybody's meeting in the middle, and we'll be filming at one of the lakes in Georgia and getting some awesome new content for Bash U TV, specifically geared for you guys. Listen, you guys said you wanted it, and we're giving it to you. We got some awesome content for wintertime fishing coming up these next couple months, specifically of the on-water products. So excited, really excited to get that out on Bash U TV for our guys.
Yeah, we love Jared Lintner. Everybody loves him. All of our students do, and glad to have you on the East Coast, sort of, almost. Kind of, yeah. I guess that counts.
Yes.
Yeah, Georgia has a little piece of the East Coast, doesn't it?
Piece of the coast for sure.
Yep. Well, it's good. It's good to have them. I know Tackle Warehouse. We love Tackle Warehouse, and they've got a new facility in Georgia. And Jared's coming out to support that, and that's going to be great for all of us that love to shop at Tackle Warehouse. And all the great stuff going on right now at Tackle Warehouse. All their Christmas promotion is happening right now, so make sure you go and check that stuff out, guys. And it was cool. We had, like I said, Riz was behind the camera. And Riz, I got to say, you looked pretty confident. It's a complicated operation. You got wind, you got sun angles, you got a crazy subject that's losing his train of thought every 5 minutes. But you looked cool as a cucumber back there, getting all the shots.
Man, Pete, it was easy because you're actually the opposite of that. It's so obvious that you've done this a time or two because you start your thought and you complete it. So it's makes it easy to film a guy that's been filmed that many times. But yeah, it was exciting to get out there and use the new camera that Jeff purchased, and no, but in all seriousness, no, I got to give a shout out to our guy Jeff that we were just busting on a bit there. He over the last 6 months, calendar year maybe, has really spent a lot of time, a lot of his own time, coaching me up and teaching me the process of editing and film and production, and walking me through A to Z, holding my hand through the whole process. And I'm starting to feel pretty good with it. So Jeff, if you're listening, I appreciate you, buddy. It's been an exciting journey learning all this. Not to say that it's been easy, but it's been pretty awesome, and I'm excited to get out there and do some more filming in this year of 2022. Hopefully down south all winter long. So.
Oh, you're grounded right here, Rich.
They have bass in Hawaii. They have bass in Hawaii.
Yeah. You better get some ice fishing parkas because we're gonna put you to it.
Yeah,
buddy.
I'll have to hit up the Ice Force. Use our discount, guys. Which, by the way, I didn't mention when I was talking about all of the awesome stuff we have going on at BUTV right now, guys. If you're not signed up, just one more reason to get signed up is the member benefits that you get as a Bash University TV subscriber. Our pro member benefits include up to 40% off with all of the companies we work with. That's companies like Missile Baits, Gills Gear, Empire Covers, Flambeau, many, many more. Guys, just one more reason to get signed up for BUTV. We're hooking you up with discounts to all the companies that we work with.
Absolutely. And we're always bringing more. We had a great Tackle Warehouse sale last year for all you guys, and you can look for us to bring that again coming soon here in the spring of 2022.
Yeah, we had a Tackle Warehouse discount, Pete.
Say again?
We had a Tackle Warehouse discount.
Yes, we did.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
we had a nice 15% off discount for Tackle Warehouse just for our subscribers. And we're going to bring stuff. We're constantly working to bring stuff like that to you guys. And I also want to welcome Hobie Sunglasses to the Bash University crew.
You got yours yet?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep. Same ones I got right there.
Dude, these are sweet.
They
These
are.
yellow-
They're really legit. They're nice. I had a pair.
I love them.
They flew off my face on Mike's boat.
Huh.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I'm imagining anything can stay on your face in Mike's boat.
No, I'm on the. Well, we had 4 people on there. We were entertaining somebody, and of course that doesn't mean he could go any slower. Nah. Yeah, so, there's my glasses. Thanks, Mike. But yeah,
well, we
awesome
got
glasses.
new Hobies. We got new Hobies coming your way, brother. I promise you.
All right.
And we love them. We're very pleased with them. I had the opportunity to fish with them this year, and amazing. I had the amber lens and the dark lens fishing in the crystal clear water out on the flats. Just amazing the additional depth penetration that you get. Really comfortable. Really block out the light really well. It's a terrific pair of sunglasses. So highly recommend them. And look for some things coming from Hobie Sunglasses.
So is all you got to do to get a new thing is just lose your
Old
you lost your Hobies, right?
Yeah.
So if I rip one of my graphs off the front of my boat and it happens to be the one that's not working as good, do I get a new one?
I don't know.
Pete, you're just handing stuff out. Santa Pete, 'tis the season.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
slightly more challenging to get a $3,000 unit replaced, Riz, but you hang in there. I'll do what I can.
I mean, I fish the Delaware too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Shout out to a personal sponsor of mine, Andre Albernaz. Andre, thank you for the bottle. I'm gonna try to kill this tonight. Rich, I mean, they bought Rich a bottle too, right?
Yeah, he
Pete?
did. I've only had it in my truck since the BFL regional on the Potomac.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
But I finally got
it. Andre has been very gracious at bottles of rum, cigars. You never know what you're going to get, but thank you very much. Very generous, Andre.
Yes,
Hope
and I would encourage other people to do the same.
Everybody send BTC a Christmas present. Is that what I just heard?
Yep. Yes.
That is what you just heard, and I just want to let you guys know who we do have on. We've got the Eco Bass Angler. You can check them out on Instagram. Go give them a like. And Craig is well versed in environmental issues. Involved right now. There's a lot going on with the freshwater mussel restoration project on the Delaware River that you're involved with, and I'm thrilled that you're involved with that because it's such an important part of the ecosystem. People don't even understand that. It's news to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I mean, it's a cool time to be able to pull together, like, my passion for fishing and being on the river, and then getting back to helping it, watching it restore. There's a lot of ground that's been made. I mean, you can talk to guys like Riz that are starting out, and relatively a lot younger than us out there. But man, it was a grind, in the 80s. There was like one weed bed, if that, right? I mean, if you said you're going to go to the grass, you knew where you were going, right? Now the place is covered in grass and the water quality is getting better. But yeah, the restoration projects are coming along. The group that I'm involved with just got a huge amount of money from the EPA, from federal grants, to develop a freshwater mussel hatchery. They're going to be starting to raise them and then release them and try to get the mussel beds back established in the river, which of course will, help with a lot of water clarity, but it'll also help with a lot of habitat. There's going to be more substrate, and you're going to just places for crawfish and bait to hang out. And it's kind of like a freshwater equivalent of a coral reef, almost. And so you get that back, and that's who knows, man. I hope to see the changes in our lifetime. To see the differences. There's still some mussels out there. There's some, like they call them, remnant populations, where they're sort of stuck up creeks or in areas where they're not doing so well. But with the river being healthier and more oxygen, primarily because of water, the sewer plants are just more modernized. All the fish are coming back in, all the ocean running fish.
Yep.
And they have a relationship with the mussels. And so they're really getting into it to bring it back.
Like drum.
Hopefully. And the drum that Riz caught, right?
Yeah.
You did. You caught
there's
drum.
some crazy stuff, man,
Yeah.
out there. Did you ever seen the article on the seal that went all the way up the Rancocas River and sat on that lady's dock for like 3 days?
Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Like the
like a seal
craziest
from the
fish.
ocean. Like, yeah, it's crazy, dude.
I mean, I've heard of guys catching flounder like way up in the Delaware River. Crazy. Like I could catch a shark out there, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yep, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you'd be pretty freaking surprised.
Yeah.
A shark?
Just don't weigh it in.
Yeah.
Well, it's terrific that you're participating in that, and I know it's been on the fishing world, like the tournaments are being dominated by it. Now, all you guys in the Tennessee River chain, right? You know all about the importance of mussels and how they relate to schools of bass, how they use them to feed on shad, how the shad are using them to spawn on, and that's going on down there. But the interesting thing in recent years, JK, maybe you can help me remember who, but one off of a mussel bed on Lake Toho down in Florida. I can't remember who won that tournament. I guess it might have been an elite or FLW tournament, but I didn't think mussels were even I never heard anybody talk about mussel beds in Florida before. And to see them being such a factor down there, it's a really big part of every fishery, really. And it's cool that you're working on it right here, and hopefully we'll get it's funny, one grass bed, we knew where it was at.
Right. I mean, now it's everywhere. It's cool to see it changing. It's definitely one. We just look at the weights. The Five Alive had a bunch of opens, and I think it was the first open they had. A bunch of people sacked like 14 pounds. I mean, if you're out there, you got 14 pounds, you're thinking you're cashing a check,
Yep.
Even 12 pounds, right? But no, that tournament, I think Keith won that tournament.
Yeah.
They had some really impressive bags come in. It's cool. It's definitely on an upward trend.
It definitely is, and as is Five Alive Bassmasters. I think the greatest fishing club in the country right now, doing a heck of a job. And congratulations to you, Eco Bass Angler, for you don't look like a rookie, but you are.
Right.
Right.
What a fun year, man.
Rookie of the year.
Yeah, it was fun. It's a serious competitive club. They bust balls and have a good time. And they fish hard. They travel some cool places. I think next year's course is normal Candlewood, but we're going down to the James. We'll be on the flats. So in Delaware, we're going to be up at Champlain. So it's a serious group. It's been a blast. The whole range of guys. Guys just getting into it. Guys are a little more experienced. Guys are sort of retired and coming back. You got a couple guys that have fished, on the biggest stage that's available that are competing there. It's cool. It's cool.
Well, that was great. You had some big tournaments, a couple wins.
Down on the Potomac.
Yeah.
That was almost kill myself on day 2 trying to run that place, but had a good. That was a 2-day event. I think I had 15, 16 pounds a day or something. It was pretty cool.
Heck yeah. Well, it was a great year. Hey guys, if you're talk to us, let me know. Are you guys in clubs around the country? Let me know. What are some of the best clubs around the country right now? I know club fishing was like such a big deal when I first started, and it kind of faded and moved in some different directions, and federations split. But it's really cool to see that club format get going and doing good. And let me know what are some of the clubs that are big, down south, down in Texas, Florida. Just love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we
But
we got a very active message board tonight, Pete. If you want to start rolling into some questions, I got one here that I can queue up. Our first
absolutely,
one,
bring it, Riz.
Our first one that I'm going to go with is from Davey. We were talking about blade baits a little bit early in the show, and Davey wants to know what is the best setup for throwing blade baits. I mainly fish it on the rod that I fish a drop shot on, but I have never thrown a blade bait. What is the best setup for throwing blade baits?
Davey, that's a great question, and I'll throw it around the room, but I'll start because I love throwing a blade bait on a spinning rod, and it depends, it really depends. Once you start, like, this is a 3/4 ounce blade bait, and they get bigger than this. Buddy Gross is throwing ounce and a half. He teaches us how to do that. Even bigger, they're like 2 or 3 ounces. They're radical ledge fishing in different seasons. But when I'm in the cold water season, I typically stick to these 3/4, half ounce, and a 1/4 ounce. And when I'm dealing with a half ounce and a 1/4 ounce bait, man, it's a spinning rod, and my setup is the same. I use a 7.5 foot medium action. It's a little bit more beefy than a drop shot rod. And I use the 7.5 foot. I can make long casts, and I do a lot of underhand flipping and pitching with it. And that allows me to get some good distance and get the bait where I need to. But it's a Cashin 7.5 foot rod. I use a 3,000 spinning reel in this application, or it can be 4,000, but I typically use a 3,000 because it's lighter weight. It's in my hand all day, less rod fatigue. I'm using 10-pound Gamma Edge torque with 12-pound it's 10-pound torque, and it's 12-pound Gamma Edge fluorocarbon. Yeah, and so I got the fluorocarbon leader. Love the fluorocarbon leader because the braid. I would go straight braid a lot, but the braid can get impaled on the trebles, and it makes it really difficult to work with. A lot of times, the leader is important to me. It keeps me from tangling amongst the hooks as much. And a lot of times I'm fishing these baits in clear water situations. So I really think that leader helps. I think that line visibility is a factor. For me, it is definitely. So that's my setup. I'm using a spinning rod 90% of the time. Here's one of the other things. And when I was doing, I given a seminar on this, I did an on-water deal with Riz just yesterday. And as I was teaching, I realized one of the most important things in using a spinning rod with this application is its ability to free spool. You can throw line out so fast when you make that initial cast. And if you're dealing in water that's 10 feet or deeper with bait casting, you're going to have to strip and peel and try to get that bait down to fall where you want it to. But with spinning, it's super easy, especially with 10-pound braid. It's just going to fly off the spool, and it's going to fall exactly where you cast it. So that's one of the big, the big proponents of fishing on spinning gear. So when I get in a heavier situation, sometimes I'll go to bait casters, the 3/4 ounce, but halves and 1/4 ounce, I'm a spinning rod guy. What do you guys fish this bait? What's the gear you guys use?
Yeah, Pete, I fish it. I don't do it the same as you guys do up there. I know it's a powerful tool this time of year for you guys. I learned it back in my club days. When I was 16, 17 years old, fishing with the older gentleman who basically taught me how to fish tournaments, But I learned it from a guy who learned it from Tom Hamlin, who's a local guy around here, really well known for jigging spoon. And he taught me to drop a jigging spoon, and it was a January tournament down here. And to this day, I always fish a jigging spoon. But I've also, that same day when he taught me that, he said every now and then he uses a blade bait to vertically drop down to these fish in the same, a lot of it's 15 to 30 feet of water, but it gives you just that vibration, and I've used it vertically ever since then when it's cold. But then thankfully, you sent me out on a trip to film with Brian Thrift last year, and I got to go with him, and he pulled out this little guy.
The vault.
The little guy, though, the 1/4 ounce.
Yep.
They 1/4 and a half, and the half's, twice as big, but they just came out with a 3/8 too, which is kind of in between. But the 1/4 ounce is really small. You got to take these number 10 stock hooks off. You're just not going to catch a good bass on those. But he upsizes to number 8, and Thrift throws it on a Revo MGX, which is a smaller, compact bait casting reel. And this is the Thrift thing. He throws 8-pound fluorocarbon. I can hardly make peace with throwing 8-pound fluorocarbon on a bait caster, but he does it. I know a lot of guys do. He does it with his little underspins and stuff, and he does that. But I'm like you, Pete. I go to the school of Pete with my setup. I want a long spinning rod with that braid to leader. And I was fortunate enough to catch a couple really key largemouth in the All-American last year as a co-angler, just winging it out there, just like you said. Let that braid just zinging off the reel, 4,000 size spinning reel, and just getting it out there. And man, honestly, man, those little number 8 treble hooks, the barb's so small. Once you get it in there, it's like it's stuck. They're pinned.
Yeah.
That 1/4 ounce size, and I like throwing the half too.
Well, check it out, guys. It's Blade Baits and Tiny Bait Fish. Brian Thrift. That video's been out for just a little while on Bass TV. You can see it in action, and he catches them. And that's one of the cool things about it is when you get around them this time of year on that style of bait, you're around a lot of fish. I mean, and a multi-species, like the biomass, all kind of gets together. And Brian does it there. What's he catching? White bass or white perch and bass and crappie, and it's just like every other cast you're pulling in a fish, and that's what makes it so cool. But it takes a little getting used to. But you're in the spinning rod too. I know Riz, what are you fishing on? I know you and your boys have been experimenting with some different rigging for this with some heavier gear.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the double-edged sword with these blade baits is you're gonna snag fish sometimes, inadvertently when you're fishing them the way that we do around here on pilings and kind of flip into targets and jigging them more vertically. I've done both. I've done the bait casting rod and the spinning rod. But lately, for the last couple years, and it's not a foolproof method, but for the last couple years, I've been doing more on the bait casting setup with the heavier blade, 3/4 ounce blade, even though, we're fishing relatively shallow, and really upsizing the line to like 17, 20-pound fluorocarbon. And, we're not babying them. You upsize your hooks a little bit, and with that heavier line, heavier rod, when you get that hook in them, you can kind of bully them up to the boat a little bit. And in a situation where you have a net guy, you can afford that a little bit more than if you're going to have to handle the fish yourself and have to deal with a really hot fish with treble hooks all over his face or in his belly or whatever. So that's kind of been the deal. But I think for the smaller size blade baits to really be accurate, I think the spinning gear is probably a better technique to use those 1/4 ounce size baits and really be able to place them a little bit better. It'd be tough on a bait casting setup to take a 1/4 ounce blade bait and hit a target with it. So,
yep.
BTC.
Alex, do you fish blade baits out your way?
I do, yeah. I'm kind of with Riz a little bit. I like the casting rod. I think it helps you get a little bit more leverage on them. And I've just been using my jerkbait rod, and I just kept it that way because I started like that, and I didn't really lose any fish. So not going to fix what's not broken. And I did want to run back on what Riz said, though, and ask him a question. So I liked how he said, when you're fishing with a net man, it gives you a little more leverage in case you do have to bully the fish. Rich, I was curious, what's your strategy when the net man gets the net tangled up in your rods and you got a 4-pounder jumping everywhere in the first cast of tournament morning? What do you do to get around that?
I think this is when I retire from the Bass University. It's been a great run, guys. But that was actually in all fairness, and I heard that story came up last week. Somebody sent me a screenshot and said you need to listen to this, and I did. And yeah, that was actually on a spinnerbait. And to Brian's defense, it was really, really freaking cold that day. So yeah.
So Brian, what are you saying? Brian like stabbed at your fish or couldn't get the net there in time, and you guys lost.
Pete,
the
listen,
tournament?
Pete, we don't know how it happened. Okay, I was in the back of the boat, and he's in the front of the boat, and we don't know. But that's not the point. Alex, and I want to give Alex a shout out. I just want everybody out there in the YouTube, especially YouTube guys. You guys know Alex. Alex did not make it on Smallmouth Crush last night because he knew he had to be on Bass University tonight. So, round of applause to Alex. It was a wise decision. He knows where the money's at. It's the Bass University. Wise choice, my friend.
Hey, we love Smallmouth Crush. Don't be hating on them too bad.
Hey, listen, it's my story, Pete. I'll end it the way I want to end it. Okay.
Fair enough.
You ain't gonna bully me on this show. All
All
right,
right.
go right back to the controls. So back to blade bait. You're talking about Alex. You said you throw it on a casting rod, your jerkbait rod, up to a ½ ounce. You're not throwing anything heavier than that, right?
Nope. And, kind of like Pete said, with the longer rod, you can get it longer distances. I have no issue just launching that thing to the bottom of my spool with a medium power rod and a ½ ounce. I mean, they're little bullets. There's not too much to stop them from getting hung up in the wind. So they just fly, and I haven't had any issues with it. So, yeah, just ½ ounce, and they fly.
Yeah, I got to remind Pete and Rich that you guys and we are the only ones that are throwing a blade bait at pilings, pitching them 5 feet to pilings that are in 5 foot of water.
Right.
The rest of the world, I mean, I don't know anywhere else where the blade bait fishes like that but the Chesapeake. Everybody else we're casting to open water, gravel, wintering fish.
Craig, you ever mess with that on the river, on the Delaware?
For sure. Yeah, I can go back to like the Dredge Harbor days where they would stack up on those pylons, and you'd bring the bass up, and it would have mud on its bottom scales, sitting on the bottom, 2 foot of water. Back then, it was always like Silver Buddy, on a spinning rod. Change the hooks out. I mean, I still got a bunch of them, Silver Buddy, and they would definitely relate to it that way.
Well,
very, very
I can tell you, I have now pilings. I've caught them off of floating docks before on certain bodies of water down south. Grand Lake was one where I was able to trigger some strikes. I have very limited experience there, but I did it there, and I've caught them down in Florida. Offshore. It's a tremendous tool, but you're basically fishing around the shad, not so much around the structure. It is really unique. I can't believe it's the only place in the world that it happens like this, BTC, but it's really cool experience. As a matter of fact, I was out Friday, and giants, just the big dinosaurs coming up in the bay, eating the blade baits. I had 4 fish over 6 pounds. And the shallowest was a foot of water in 42 to 44 degree water temperature. So it's amazing how shallow fish will get. Wherever the bait fish goes, so goes the bass. So, I mean, if the bait's shallow, they're going to be there.
I got a question, Pete.
Shoot.
So what's the water temperature when this kicks in? Because I can think of all these places around the Southeast that, man, this could work. But in my mind, it's like, man, I don't even know if we get a winter ever harsh enough to get us down to a temperature zone where they're going to get on that blade bait.
It's
blade
a great
bait
question.
For a fall time, school, tons of small bait, bait balls.
It's great. It's a great question, and I have experience in a lot of different states with it, but the range is from 40 to 60 degrees.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think you can catch a fish on a blade bait, and I hate that I'm even saying this because we messed with it this year on the Chesapeake, like early, and you can catch them. You can get them to eat a blade bait in a lot warmer water than you think. Most people think, anyway.
Well,
because of the habitat they're using.
I think one of the assets of this bait is it triggers fish in falling water temperatures as
Mm.
good as any. So when
Right.
you're in this winter season where the bait's grouped up, the bait's ganged up, the fish are around it, and that water temperature starts plummeting and it starts limiting your ability to catch them on standard jigs or whatever drop shots or whatever other tools you may typically use, crankbaits, that this bait will get them in the coldest water relative to your body of water when the water temperature is falling. It will trigger those bites.
Pete, you've been around people that use it more like a search bait? Like I've seen people like kind of use it almost like a lipless,
Yeah, shout out to John McGraw who threw that as a steady retrieve in Darby Creek and almost quit right there on the spot.
Almost
I wanted to
just
jump
like
out of the boat.
like a lipless bait. Yeah.
Rich, were you out here when Zog was?
It was just steady winding a blade bait and just snagging bass in the back.
It happened. Zach used to intern for us. It was actually John McGraw's nephew.
Yep.
Throwing a 1/4 ounce red Binsky out here on Mike's Lake and steady retrieve and catching them.
Yeah,
they were eating it, right? He wasn't just snagging them.
I wanted to quit.
Some
fishing.
of them were eating it. Yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah. So are you, Peter? You're going to talk about? I don't want to steal your thunder here, but a lot of these blade baits have the 3 holes in them. You know what I mean? And that seems to be like a universal thing with some of these blade baits. And one's more vertical, one's more, chug and retrieve type position. I haven't experimented admittedly too much with that, but I would like to hear your thought on that.
I experimented with it too, and I use all 3 holes sometimes, but mainly I'm throwing the middle one.
Brian.
BTC, keep it under control.
Yeah.
We're keeping it clean here tonight on the Bass University. But they give different vibrations, and a lot of times when I'm vertical, I'm using the one in the middle, and when I'm making a long cast, sometimes in shallow water, I'll use the front one. But typically, I'm using the middle one. The vibration changes a lot, I'm sure, but for me, it's more about the repetitive presentation and trying to keep it right in front of that fish's face over and over and over. And you'll find that they will move to the bait. Like you'll pull them in. And this is one of the things that I do, like when we're using targets, like a piling, for example. You can cast to the left of the piling. And in a typical situation, maybe you're done, you're moving to the next piling. But I'll cast to the left, I'll cast to the right, and even sometimes back again, because what happens is you're pulling that fish in the area, and he's interested, he's relating to the piling. He's not going anywhere, but he needs 2 or 3. We've seen it all the time. Guys throwing into a brush pile or a blow down tree. You throw in 10, 20 times, and then boom, you get the strike. Well, it's the same with this. You got to keep it in their grill. But I do experiment with that. A lot of them don't have that option, but some of them do. And some of the ones I have here in my box have been discontinued, but there's so many good ones. Molix, I want to give a shout out to Molix. They make such an excellent blade bait that can really trigger strikes. And I tell you, one of the things I do, Riz, and I want to get back to another IM question because we've danced on this question for like a half an hour, but it was a great question, Dave. But the Molix and a lot of other baits cut the front hook off to be able to get through the habitat a lot better. And I want you to go. You got the video that I filmed with Rich yesterday. I show how I get them off the habitat, and it's a very, very simple technique using the weight of the bait to release the hooks from the wood and the pilings or whatever you're hung up on. And you got to watch that video. I can describe it to you. It's just a series of repetitive twitches with slack in the line, and it lets the bait drop against the hooks and it falls off. And it'll save you a pile of money. But these baits are in the bottom, man. Whatever's down there, rocks, fishing line, wood, crab traps. We have that around our way. it's going to find it. It's going to hang up on it. So try not to set the hook into that, and take your time, and you'll be able to get these baits out.
Pete, I got a question from a buddy of ours, Bob Soley. Wanted to know, of the three, which hole is your favorite?
Brian can't resist. He can't resist. I'm trying, Brian.
The people want to know.
Got to work
Pete.
with us here.
The people want to know. The people want to know what's your I'm the middle hole. I feel my face getting flushed with that question. So,
Alex, what do you got?
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of good questions coming in on Facebook as well as YouTube. Several we already hit on, what hole you like to put it in on the blade bait side of it. And then another one that has been popping up a lot over on the YouTube is a little trick that Seth Fider mentioned on a BU seminar. A lot of guys wanting to know if you use the braid split ring like Seth does, and if so, what success have you had with it? And the question that I wanted to add on top of that is, if you're tying the braid split ring, what knot are you tying on that? Because obviously first thing that would come into my mind, never having done it, is that braid really going to hold up when you got a 5-pounder swinging around on there? So, Pete, I was wondering if you had any experience with that.
Man, and I'm going to say that I have very limited experience. I have a few baits that I've tied it. Seth ties it and showed us how to do it, and for the strategic part of this is it allows infinite rotation virtually of the treble hook, right? So if you get hooked up, there's no resistance. The treble hook can rotate 360 degrees. It can follow the fish. It can hold. And Zona Z talks about it on his show, but using it on crankbaits, anywhere you're using treble hooks, this is proven to be a better strike to catch ratio. It's something that's new to me, and I don't have a lot of experience with it. I'm experimenting with it now, honestly, which is good for me because it took me 5 years to throw the Senko. So it's only a couple years, and I'm already experimenting with these baits with this. But got to check out Seth's tutorial on how to tie this knot, because it's really awesome how they do it, and I can't really advise you on it. Have any of you guys used that yet?
I haven't messed with it. I've always stuck to just the standard split ring, but I'm sure it's very effective. JK?
Yeah, I have. It's more than just the blade bait too. It's really, really good on those oversized Magnum crankbaits. Like really, really good.
That's a good point, Justin, because another question that was asked on here is, if you're using that trick on a blade bait, why not a crankbait? Why not a big glide bait, something like that? Now, obviously, with a glide bait or a floating bait, you run the risk of messing up the balance of the bait. It might not suspend perfectly or whatever, but it could be an effective way to put an end to some landing issues if you're having those.
Yeah, I'd say the jerk bait's a no-no, but everything else is fair game. I know. I think the lesson Seth taught us on Bass UTV, the key point there is anything that your hookup to landing ratio goes down because it's a big piece of metal, or just how the weight distribution is on a bait. It could, blade bait's small, but all that weight's kind of towards the head, so it's kind of pulling away when a crazy smallmouth might be jumping or going crazy. But yeah, I know a lot of guys have been doing that on big top waters for those crazy spots in smallmouth. And I've been experimenting that. I experimented with it this year with a lot of success. It's just real tedious, it's like you're going to get into tying an FG knot. It just drives you nuts. Like I'm dreading the tournament that I have up north the whatever night I'm going to have to rig up 10 spinning rods with fresh FG knots, right? Because it's going to take me 2 hours to just tie knots. And the braided split rings is kind of like that for me too, because every now and then I'll get it wrong, you know, and have to redo it. And if you're if you're doing it with Seth with like the fire to singe the, you know, what you cut off there, you know, you can do a little too much or something. But yeah, I haven't done every lure under the sun, but the oversized crankbaits, like your oversized baits with those big hooks, you know, 10XDs, you know, just those big ones, it will improve your hook up to land ratio for sure.
I can't wait for VMC to come out with the answer to this, you know, that infinite, you know, rotation that is where you can still replace your hooks. We'll see that's the perfect scenario. By the way, I put it up on the IM board, the link over to Seth's demonstration on how he modifies the blade bait. So guys, go check it out. And talking about smallmouth, and Colin out in Ontario, he's from the mid 60s. He's catching smallies. That smallies love the blade bait. I mean, it is an absolute smallmouth killer when the water temperature starts getting down a little bit, and spots love it too. So it's a killer all around. But great question, man, and great questions, guys. Riz, you got another one lined up for us?
I do. The next question that I'm going to go with here is going to be from C Stu. C Stu, you're going to win yourself a Gills Gear gift card for this question. And his question is, he hears a lot of guys catching suspended fish vertically using a jigging spoon above the fish. I've only ever used jigging spoons, pulling them off of the bottom. Do you have any tips for using a jigging spoon to catch suspended fish?
Man, that's a great question. And JK, I want to kind of volley this to you, because we were talking about this a lot. The ice jig fishing above the treetops at Table Rock was a winner in that tournament, and it's a winner often this time of year.
But, it is.
What were the details on that win?
Well, you know, and you can go back to watch our interview with Cody Huff, I think over a year ago, when he won out there. So basically you've got a bunch of trees that are in 60 to 70 feet of water out there, and they top out at about 40 to 30, you know, somewhere in that range. And the fish will ride the treetops, you know, because a lot of times when you have timber in the lake, it's all kind of cut off in the same range. And when you have them, you know, it's all different. And if you watch Brandon Cobb's seminar that we just released today, he'll talk about that, how every lake's a little different, and you look and you'll figure out really easily what your depth range is. So knowing the tops of the trees is just as important as, you know, just the bottom depth out there. But he's using that ice jig. He's getting it down pretty fast, and it's got this ability to stay in the middle of the water column. You know, it's not like just going to stay like this, like a jigging spoon, right? Now it's going to plane out like this, and you can kind of pop it up, and it's almost like you get this jerk bait presentation in front of their faces, suspended. And that's a very, I shouldn't even say very popular thing, but a lot of the guys, you know, a lot of the sticks out there in the Ozarks region and stuff, they're you know, they're all over it, you know, and that's how it's won. Now, with the jigging spoon, I still believe it's a powerful tool, and you'll see this in the video with Brandon Cobb for suspending fish, and that's with what Brandon calls power reeling it. Brandon's not he does not really like to jig it. He likes to power reel it, both off the bottom, but also when those fish are kind of in the middle of the column. And what he's doing is he's getting that thing down there on a bait casting setup, and then he'll reel it really quick and just reel it straight up high, not even just like small little snaps. That is the traditional. And it makes fish react. Now you can see them, on the 2D, they're chasing it up and down and up and down. But those ones that kind of are already up or staying suspended, he'll reel them up through them and it'll just make them react. And you don't have to let your bait go to the bottom. You can kind of go underneath and shoot up past them again, let them go underneath, shoot up past them again. And that power reeling deal, it can really trigger some bigger bites than your traditional jigging spoon thing. And Brandon kind of shows us on that video. So I think that kind of helps answer your question. And I may or may not have caught a good fish power reeling here really recently. It's really fun when you're just going boop, 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 and your rod just goes straight from plane to bent over, man. It's fun.
That is fun. I put up links for the Cody Huff interview as well as the Jigging Rap that we're talking about for you guys that are Bass U subscribers, which those are you guys that are seeing it. I put those links over on the IM board, so you can go over and get them bought, because the ice fishing season is starting, and pretty soon it's all going to get sold out. Because they're so popular. Those jigs are so popular through the ice. And it's a great question. And I want to give a shout out to Tomlin, who you mentioned earlier, Justin.
Yeah,
what's
Tom.
that? Yes, Tom Hamlin,
Georgia.
Tom Hamlin.
Ron Tomlin.
And Eddie Park. Tom Hamlin taught me how to fish a jigging spoon. And my friend Eddie Parker, both from Georgia, and those guys taught me a ton. Tom showed me how to fish down on Lake Russell in that deep vertical technique fishing a jigging spoon. And
cool.
And it was amazing.
He taught the guy that taught me, so that's really cool, Pete.
Yeah, he's a special guy. Had a tremendous insight on how fish move and how they flow through the timber and how they move through the seasons. But one of the things that I thought was really cool when using a jigging spoon, and I want to bring this up because it relates to the blade bait too, is how often they will bite it on the bottom.
I got a great comment to that.
I'm anxious to hear it because the one technique that Tom Hamlin taught me was you want, he had a name for it, I can't remember, but it would basically, when the spoon would fall and lay flat, you're just twitching the slack in the line, and what you're trying to accomplish is you're trying to get that spoon to flip over but lay on the bottom, and flip back again and lay on the bottom, and they will bite it like it's a dying shad, and they will come and suck it right up off the bottom at times. And it's a really, really important technique. It takes a lot of feel, especially when you're fishing in really deep water, to be able to make it accomplish that, because mostly you're picking it up really high. Most people think they're moving their rod, I'm just moving it a little bit, but you're actually moving it 2, 3, 4 feet off the bottom sometime, moving it too aggressively. But I'll do the same thing with a blade bait. Is I'll pop it and I'll try to flip it and just try to move it, try to give it some flash. And it's so often those fish will come over nose down on it, suck it up just like it's a Ned rig or a jig or whatever. It's all metal parts. You would think, nah, that's never going to happen. But they do. In that cold water, they'll suck it up and they'll swim off with it. So beware of that those bites often can come while the bait's sitting on the bottom. And BTC, what's your experience?
Oh, I got actually came through as a text message, and I'll just read it to you. And this goes back to our previous conversation about the blade bait. We tie on 2 smaller white feathers on the rear treble here in the dead of winter. A ton of them pick it up off the bottom, pick those feathers up off the bottom. This creates a little resistance, so when the bass sucks it up, it pulls up. First thing in their mouth is that treble hook, that rear treble hook. And then the rest of it went, you expletives never check Facebook, so I figured I'll just text it, shoot it to you. And that's from our buddy Keith Thomas at Blacktown Custom Baits. So, yeah, we don't check Facebook, Alex. But, yeah, that treble, tying a feather on the blade bait and popping it off the bottom.
Yep. And we do check Facebook. And if you checked
Nah,
Facebook,
not too much.
it would tell you to go over and get subscribed to Bash University TV,
That's right.
so you can come over and talk to us on the IM board.
That's right, Keith.
And
Get
we
off
got
Facebook.
and we
Come
got,
over to the
we got
website.
free trials for you guys. Get over and check it out. But we also got some amazing deals going on. If you guys are just tuning in, go check it out. We continued our Cyber Week, and it's $49.99 for a 6-month subscription to Bass University TV. It's amazing deal, but it's
Best
truly
deal
going to
ever.
help your fishing get to the next level.
It is.
So-
and that's not the only thing we got going on right now. Is we also got some virtual seminars hitting the airwaves next week,
Ooh.
guys.
We sure
And
do.
guess what? If you are a Bass U TV subscriber, you are going to get your ticket for the virtual seminars next week to see guys like Jordan Lee, Matt Lee, Randy Howell for $1. $1. That's it. 99 cents is all we're charging you.
What?
If you are a Bash U TV subscriber, you can attend the virtual Zoom seminars next week. We're going to be shooting on day 1 with Jordan Lee, Matt Lee, Randy Howell. Day 2, we got Pete Glusek, Clabby and Johns, and Justin. Refresh my memory on who's the third for the second day.
Who?
Pete, Clavian Johns, and
Jesse Wiggins.
Jesse Wiggins.
Jesse
Who's
Thank
before Wiggins?
These brothers.
Yep.
But either way, you got them all.
Yeah, so guys, you're you can get signed up for that. It only costs you 99 cents. Just another reason to be a Bash U TV subscriber. Live seminars, you're going to get to interact and talk with these guys during the seminars, get your questions answered directly from the pros. All right, it's really the deal. If you're not a Bash U TV subscriber, you can still sign up, but it costs you $49.99. But if you sign up, it's only 99 cents. So head over to bashu.tv, join the leading program for bass fishing education right now. Go do it.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
know, Pete. Pete, I don't think you can take him off that. Put him on the camera. He's too good at that.
He's too good. He's too good at
Yeah, he's smooth, man. You know what I mean?
Shoot.
how he just slid right into that promotion like it was,
Yeah,
it was pretty smooth. Well done, Riz, and it's absolutely true. And we've got these seminars. They're going on next week. Over to thebashuniversity.com. It's going to be on the 14th and 15th of next week. So they're going to start at 10 a.m. and they're going to 5 p.m. And you can get in there for all you guys for the low price of 99 cents. We want to make it free. We had to charge a nominal fee so that we could process your order for the Zoom project. But so that's it, man. We want you guys to come. We want to bring this gift, this benefit to all of our subscribers. So we hope you come. All you guys watching tonight, make sure you hang out with us on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That's right. Call in sick. Craig, Eco Bass Angler is a boss. He's the president of his company. Call in sick to his company so you can come and hang out with us. He won't mind. Right, Craig?
Yeah, you got it.
And do what you got to do, but get over and come hang out with us. Riz, I know you're giving me a sign, but I can't read it on the whiteboard. It just blotches out to me. So
Commercial.
speak your booming voice into the microphone. What do you got for me?
Yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back in the second segment. We're going to talk a little bit about how we work with some of the clubs in this area, like Five Alive, that we have our good friend Craig Duran, Eco Bass Angler, on. I saw him on Saturday night at the Five Alive banquet. It was awesome to be able to interact and talk with so many members of the Five Alive Club that are also Bass U TV subscribers. But in the second segment, we got our man Frankie
Frankie Provolone.
Frankie Provolone coming on from Slade Nation Tournament Fishing, who we are going to be partnering with for the 2022 season. So for now, quick break, come back, talk more bass fishing and a little bit of stinky cheese with Frankie Provolone.
That's right.
We'll be right back after this, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. All right.
AquaView, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. catch more fish, have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love catching fish and rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
We're different. Some would say obsessed. There's no place on earth we'd rather be than right here, right now. Performance-driven gear, so you can fish longer, harder. Gill's Performance Fishing.
And we're back live.
Back for segment 2 of
Where's-
Bass University Live.
And this segment is called Guess Where Peter Is. Does anyone like to register a guess where Peter is at right now?
I mean, if whoever put it right on the message board, let's just give him a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw it out to the board. Where do you think Pete is right now? That was our first commercial break, which is it's now only 1 minute and 45 seconds long. So he must not be on the timing yet. But yeah, vertical fishing, man. It's a cool topic. Glad we got to dive in on that in the first segment.
I will say this. I'll dial it back to something that we weren't able to touch on. When Pete answered my question about the water temperature range, the best thing that I've heard probably all show is what he said about the water temperature has to, it shines when the water temperatures are falling. So in my mind, it takes me back to this seminar that I got JT Kinney to do. And that it's already on Bass U TV, but we did this seminar last, January. And it's on water temperature trends and how a trend is more important than the exact number or digit.
Yep.
People get so hung up on 55 or 52. Yep. Well, let me tell you something.
Trend.
When 55 is a lot different when it was 60 last Sunday.
Yep.
But if it's 55 right now and it was 48 last Sunday, that's a totally different 55.
Oh yeah.
So the
That's a hot
trend,
55.
the falling temperature is what he was saying that makes that blade bait shine. We just had a warming trend after our temperatures had been steadily falling, and we started to see all these fall patterns, come alive down here.
Yep.
A lot of guys were catching them on the classic stuff, and then tournament time, I didn't practice, so we were just kind of fishing whatever my team partner did, and he was talking about how weird it got. Well, it got weird because the water temperature rose 6 or 7 degrees. But these fish are kind of probably wanting it to fall down, and they kind of got funky, and they got deeper than normal. We were catching them on deeper docks and then out in front of some, stuff, and was able to drop down on some and catch a few. But it's that was what spoke volumes. So before I even try to catch you guys up on that seminar, go watch the JT Kinney Water Temperature Trends seminar on Bass U TV. That'll give you a lot more awesome insight to that nugget that Pete gave us just a short while ago. Pete, welcome back.
Oh, Pete. Hey, everybody. Pete's back. He just got back. Rich, do we have a winner?
We got a lot of winners. Most of the things I can't say, though, on the show. So.
Well, we had a trivia question. Where is Peter? And I guess we'll move past that one. I don't know.
Come on. What are the top 2 answers?
Are
they that rough?
Yeah, they're pretty rough. Pete, what's your favorite color jigging spoon?
White.
Doo-doo brown.
Ooh.
I tell you, I gotta say, I'm silver or white when it comes to jigging spoons. They're the tops, and there's something about that white one when you're down around the thread fin shad, and it's like I don't know, it just draws more strikes. You know, a lot of times when I'm up in the northern bodies of water, silver seems to dominate when I'm dealing with the jigging spoon, and there's so many that are good. One of my favorites is that Hopkins Shorty. When you're fishing around alewives and there it is right there. Look at that, JK, he's ready to go. But between those two tools in his hand right there, that'll get you started in jigging spoon fishing, no question about it. But great question, and I don't appreciate the trivia question, but other than that, it's been a great night. We've guys, I mentioned this before, and I want to mention it again. We deal with a lot of great clubs. Five Alive is one of them, and if your club is into bass fishing, let us know about it. Hit us here on the IM board on social media, and let us know what's going on. Apparently, there's crisis happening over there. We can hear the audio coming in, but we have we've lost right now. I was just going to introduce him, and it looks like he's hit the road. The guys here on the Zoom feed got to see it, but we had a major explosion, eruption, computer falling. I don't know what was going on, but we lost Frankie for a minute. There he is.
What's up, Slayers? Oh my God, sorry about that. I'm using my wife's whatever these makeup light things are, when you go live sometimes, because I'm in a darker room, and it pretty much fell over. So
dude, that was so amazing. I hope it hit the airwaves, man. It was like we were seeing the ceiling, the floor. There's all kinds of noise.
Oh my God. Jeez, it didn't tip my beer over, so I'm happy. All right.
Well, we've got Frankie Provolone from Slade Nation, and we are so proud and happy to be associated with you guys. You guys do so much great fishing all over the country, and it's awesome that you could be here with us tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you, Pete, and I appreciate it. BTC, Riz, everybody, how we doing? We're really excited for the partnership. We think it's a really solid partnership with what we have going on with Slade Nation, and how, a lot of, when Brian reached out to me about it, immediately it was a yes, because, we deal with the everyday anglers. And at the end of a tournament, one thing you always have happen at the ramp is they always go up to the winning team and say, hey, how'd you catch them? What you do?
Yeah.
So they always want to improve. So what better partnership than to be with the Bass University?
Man, well, we're glad to have you. For people that don't know you, tell us a little bit about what is Slade Nation, and how can they join or get involved with you guys?
Yeah, so we're a tournament organization, right? That's our we want to provide fishing opportunities to the everyday angler. So we have a few different series, excuse me, that people can get signed up for, right? We have anywhere from our small vessel series, which caters to kayakers, john boats, canoes, anything, electric only. Okay. We have our kayak series, which really blew up this year. That's your traditional kayak series event, no teams, just solo. We're introducing a horsepower series next year. So we're kind of upping our game a little bit. We're going to introduce some outboard 75 horsepower max, 20 foot boats and smaller. And then we have some online series. We offer a ladies only online series, the Lady Slayers, that has really picked up with some popularity with our lady only offering. And that's an online tournament series, which means you can compete from wherever you live in the country on your home body of water. That has to be public, right? And then we offer a next generation series online offering, which is for youth, 8 to 14-year-olds. So they get them comfortable into tournament fishing, how to do CPR fishing, catch, photo, release, and really get them out there and kind of introduce them right, into what tournament fishing is. And so all this information is on our website, SladeNationTournamentFishing.com. Go there, it gives you all of our tournament rules, what's included in your membership for next year, which includes a nice discount with the Bass University. So that's where the hub of all the information is. And then they can follow us on our social media and hit me up personally.
That's awesome. You guys are so prolific. We're proud to be part of you guys. And yeah, you said something about the 8 to 14-year-olds. How are you getting the kids on the water?
So it could be, they could fish with, and that's an online series, right? So it's very similar to the Lady Slayers, which is a popular thing in the, if you heard of Tourney X and, some of those other similar tournament management system software programs, they could fish from the bank. They could fish from the boat. They could fish from a kayak. Our young slayer of the year, Chase Cardinal, who it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Chase. He fishes with his dad up in upstate New York. They fish Cayuga, Oneida, and his dad has a beautiful bass boat. And he's up there drop shot. And so it's also a way to get parents. I had uncles taking nephews out. It's a great way for not just the young angler to go out there with his buddies or by themselves, but also with a family member, a friend, an aunt, an uncle, so grandfather, grandmother. So, that's been a big hit. So it's up to them where they want and how they want to fish.
Man, that's incredible that you guys provide this, and you guys are growing and keep advancing. And it's like I said, it's great to be associated with you guys. And how's your fishing? Is your season in full swing? Are you in the winter? Where are you at, man?
I'm in Connecticut. I'm neighbors, man. It's full winter here. I got buddies sitting in the water. The last time I was on the water was my last Connecticut Slade Nation event, November 7th. We were on Lake Lilanona, if you're familiar, which I know some of the viewers are. And
I fished Lake Lilanona, just after I escorted Washington across the Delaware. We had a derby the next weekend on Lilanona. It was a long time ago, but
it's a great spot. It's a river system. It's a great spot. It's a dammed river system, but it was literally a month ago. November 7th was the last time I was on there. We were just knocking them out of the park on a Ned rig. Smallmouth that was it.
Yeah, that was, I remember it was a deep water lake up there. And
you could drop shot in 60 feet there, 70 feet. They spawn down that deep. Yeah, it's crazy. You gotta, it's a tricky body of water if you're not familiar, but once you get comfortable with it, it's a great place. That's my favorite place to go right now.
That's awesome.
I got a question.
Yeah, it's a blast from the past for me. But what about the other parts of the country? Like, you guys are all over. Where are some of the other most popular areas that you guys are having events and have participants?
Yeah, so we were in 23 states this past season that just completed, right? We had our last event in Florida this past Saturday. So our larger trails, California, that was our small vessel series. They had 80 something anglers, 80 members in that one. They had, they're fishing Clear Lake, they're fishing, big bodies of water up there. Texas, our Texas kayak series had just about 50 members in that one. Connecticut, we have a really big following, so big that I had to split it up and do like kayak series and another small boat series. I could have had 100 people in mine alone. We just don't have the parking at our events. And, Florida is another big one. Pennsylvania. We had them, our trails, typically we get, our average is 25, 30 people, right? Per, if you had to average it out. And then, heading into next year, we just signed another new director. We're gonna have 32 trails or, series going next year. So it's busy.
I see Payne wants to know about Georgia. What do you guys have down in Georgia right now?
Yeah, right now, excuse me, we have Georgia is heading into their third season with us. And we have a small vessel series down there now, potentially a horsepower series. So Payne, if you are interested, if you have a kayak, a john boat, that's the electric only. There's a lot of electric only lakes in Georgia. So Georgia is very similar to us in Connecticut and New Jersey, where there's a lot of electric only. There's a huge electric following down there. All the John boat modifiers, really heavy down there.
Awesome. Well, and I see this. Davey wants the Bash U to have a online tournament. Maybe we'll partner with you guys. We'll have some kind of co-branded event. That would be really cool, man. That'd be fun.
We could definitely do that. I'll help take care of that. We could make that a fundraising event, right? I think that would be a great way to do that.
Frankie, it's Brian. Hey, let's just rename it the Bass University.
Shut up. You're stupid.
Never mind.
That's from a prior talk. We'll talk about it. That's funny.
Yeah.
I missed the joke. As usual, man, you went over me or under me. And I don't know which one it was.
He's talking about some below.
Some inside info, bro. Don't worry about
it. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's fun. People on a live web show love inside jokes.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, sometimes you just got to suck it up and move on. Hey, we don't want to go there right
this
now.
Guy.
Man, I love it. So you guys been doing great, and it's great to be partnered. You got a 2022 coming up. What are you most excited about with what you guys got going next year?
A few things. I'm really excited that we have brought on 6 title sponsors for next year. We're really excited about that. We have probably, I would say our strongest, partner team that we have right now with our sponsors. It's the strongest team we have that I feel really hit our niche, right? Our demographic of anglers, the slayers. So I really feel confident bringing lots of value next year to those businesses. I also feel strong in our director team, right? We have a really strong team heading into next year. And, finally, I've been wanting to offer, the last time I talked to y'all was 2019, and I had mentioned something about Beast of the East. We're trying to do something here, like a big Slanation event in the Northeast, and then COVID hit, right? And so, yeah, exactly. And so next August, we're bringing it back, baby. I don't know the location. I got the date, August 5th, 6th, and 7th. Not sure of the location. I'm looking somewhere in New York. And we're going to let it rip. We're going to invite all the sponsors, anybody that wants to come. Bash you want to come up. We're going to do a Friday, a little meet and greet. Saturday, maybe if sponsors want to do some little, exhibitions, talk about products, sell product, do a little dinner and drinks that night. And then Saturday afternoon, maybe like a big bass tournament or something with everybody. And then Sunday is the tournament.
We need a dunk tank.
We need a dunk tank. We can make that happen.
Yeah, we got to have a dunk tank.
We should. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I got a lot of them.
So yeah. So we're excited, man. We're excited.
Well, to go anywhere in New York except Lake Oneida, and we'll be there.
Okay. Sounds good. We'll see what we can do. Excuse me.
We don't. I don't like that lake, but except for this year.
Geez.
But that's great. So it's it's a busy season. You guys are doing great, and got a big 2022. Are you going to keep fishing through the winter up there in Connecticut? You an ice fishing guy?
I would hope so. A lot of my buddies are asking me and inviting me to, get on the ice. I am a wussy when it comes to ice. I still got the John boat out in the yard. I got it covered, but I want to take it out. I teach. I'm a phys ed teacher. We have winter break coming up. I plan on taking it out. I do plan on taking it out.
Frank, what age group?
Preschool to 8th grade, dude.
Don't
make me spank you. What's up?
So what's the hot gym games you got going on right now?
The hot gym games are medic ball. It's a safe version of dodgeball. It's always a big hit. We got my crowd favorite hula hoop tag for y'all that don't know. Okay, look into some hula hoop tag, and look into butterfly sit-ups. Okay,
what's
you want those abs?
So what's medic ball, and how's that safer than dodgeball? Is this medic?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's the same friggin' thing, dude. It's just I say, hey, you got to hit them waist and lower. That's it.
Okay. I got you.
That's it.
You still do the big parachute with the balls in it? Remember that?
Stand with a big parachute with the they call it popcorn BTC. All right. That's a big hit from kindergarten to preschool.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, man. And if you want any pointers, let me know. We should do, the phys education
Phys education I'm just reminiscing, man. I miss that.
I know, dude.
But hey, so I just want to say I've fished the Slade Nation Trail the last 2 years now, mostly with Haas, and it's cool. You know, I really
shout out to Haas.
I appreciate what Frankie's doing. It's, the director from, Gary took over for Joe.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe had to deal with work, and Gary took over for him. This is his first year ever fishing tournaments, and he did a very nice job as director. But it's a fair amount of that, and that's important, man. We get carried away with the Elite Series and MLF and BFLs. We all got to start somewhere, and so,
absolutely.
So what Frankie's doing, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's important. It's getting more people out there that would go out and fish and just throw a bobber and catch anything, to now they're getting serious and targeting bass and getting involved in a bass tournament, and dude, they get into it, man. I mean,
they're
out there practicing, man. They are.
They know you guys are coming. Well, you and Haas put a target on your back, and they'll.
So they're out there. Yeah. I'm going in there blind, thinking all right, I was here once 5 years. They're right on the juice, man. They're out there practicing and
I think
it serious.
You bring up a great point, and I think a lot of people, when you think of sometimes us smaller clubs, right, smaller local clubs, you're like, all right, the talent level, what's really there, right? And you're seeing it. They're out there practicing. They're out there pre-fishing. Some of these anglers are diehards just as much as the next guy fishing a Bass Open Series. They're just as hungry. They just want to learn.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is that, sometimes, in Slade Nation, when we first started, that was even still get it. You still get the haters out there. Oh, it's a beginner club. But I'm like, listen, if you knew what anglers were fishing in these series, you wouldn't say that, especially our kayak series, the kayak, the Bassmaster Kayak Classic, Mark Pendergraft, the Possum King, who won the classic there. Who do you think's fishing? Who do you think fishes our Texas series? Mark. There's all these sticks all around the country that slay in our trails, and we're slowly saying, hey, we're attracting everybody, whether you're novice, experienced, or right there in the middle of the pack, man. Everybody loves to fish, and that's what it's all about.
Have you considered that it would increase your numbers if the winners or the top three had to have a dodgeball playoff to see who gets the trophy?
Oh, that would be. I'll have to think about that, P. I got to put that in the membership benefits package. Top three, dodge it out when it takes the pot. But we are offering next year. I will add this: we are doing a 2022 Slade Nation National Online Championship. So to entice high participation percentages in the trails, if you win an event, you're going to win a custom Slade Nation challenge coin. And that is your ticket or your qualification into that National Online Championship. So we're going to break it in 3 divisions, right? The big 3 fish against each other. And you can be in any series and compete in this. So it's pretty much for bragging rights. So if you get a kayaker that beats out a horsepower series angler or a John boater, they're gonna be talking some smack. You get a lady slayer that wins it from the bank. She's going to be talking some smack. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just an extra incentive of what we're trying to do to provide more opportunities, right? That's what this is all about. We just want to keep providing opportunities for these anglers to get on the water because it's healthy, right? It's healthy, and this is a fun community to be a part of.
I agree with that.
Bradley Flowers wants to know where do we go to register for Slade Nation Trails?
SladeNationTournamentFishing.com. Now, depending on what you want to fish, if you have a John boat, you want to fish a small vessel series, on that page. If you have a kayak on a kayak series, and then you're going to see the list of states directors info and schedules, are being put up. So you can go there, go under the membership page. First off, take a look at what's in our membership package, because it's the most we've ever offered, right? And that's important to us to make sure that we're giving back, even though people think like, oh, $60, blah, blah, blah. But here's what we're giving back. You're getting all these discount codes, a jersey. Every year it's a new jersey, so you kind of get to collect them, and all the other things that we got going on. So check out our website.
Awesome. BTC, which ones are you going to participate in this year?
I'm going to fish whatever I can fish according to my schedule. I try to fish all of them, and going into next year, I'm going to try to actually get out on one of these bodies of water before the tournament, because just going in blind, it didn't work out the best. But Frank, is there any plans for so you're in 23 states, did you say?
Yep. Yeah, we're in 24 right now. Yeah, 24.
Right. All right. So any plans moving forward? Maybe let's dream a little dream, about, a Slade OY event where it's each state, everybody sends their gladiator out there for an event.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about. That was part of our 5-year plan.
Okay.
Right? We're slowly building there, right? With this little thing I want to do here in the Northeast on August. It's it's logistics, right? And it's also what, just like anything, it's those sponsorships and that investment. What can we, who would like to team up with us and believe in what we got going on, so we can make those events high quality and worth it for people to travel, right? How do we entice people? Hey, a large payout, giving away a kayak, a boat, a boat build. I don't know. So yeah, that's definitely something that's in the in my notebook.
So I was messaging with Gary earlier from Jersey Trail, and
shout out to Gary. He just got a baby boy. Shout out.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Dad.
Yep. What would a Slade Nation trophy look like, Frank? And I got an idea. It's something popped in my head, and I think it would be interesting. So, do you have any ideas for that?
I don't know. What's the idea? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, Frankie, you're a hype man. You know what I mean? Like, you are, in my lifetime, you are the probably the second biggest hype man that I've come across since Flavor Flav, and it just led me to think yeah, come on, dude, a big clock. I think that's what Slade OY should be, a clock.
Okay.
It's original,
okay. We'll
bro.
have to see a gold plated clock. We'll have to see what we can do.
Gold. Is gold? I thought gold was out in the '80s, but
I don't know, bro.
Maybe pewter or something.
What are we doing? Tungsten? A tungsten plated clock? What are we doing? 97% tungsten.
That's it. Tungsten.
That's
how heavy that thing would be.
What's your rookie of the year trophy looking like, CD? You got that handy?
I don't know where it is.
Slade Nation.
A nice little plaque. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
Okay.
You said rookie. Nice. Everybody looked for someone a lot younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my gray, right?
Who the hell?
Yeah, I hear you. Coma for a while, you know what I mean? I was out of it.
Sorry, bud.
No, we were out there on Saturday. Five Live had their banquet, and Riz was there, and good event, man. I mean, giving out a lot of that club just does an amazing job, giving out a lot of cash. To be honest with you, yeah. I mean, the guy. You see Riz? Did you see Ben walk away with winning the Classic, which is an unheard of type of event for clubs anymore? And then Lunker and AOI. I mean, they just lay it out.
Put some numbers on this. What are we talking about?
He won what?
$5,500 for Classic.
$5,500 for the Classic.
$2,600 for
Lunker of the year was
Lunker.
$2,500.
$2,500. Yeah.
So I mean,
what was Lunker of the year, and where was it caught? Do you remember?
Candlewood.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, but it's like 6 something. Riz was 6'4", 6'3".
Yeah. It was in the 6s. But yeah, it's it was a good event. Good to see our guys over there at 5 Alive, and we're going on year 3. we're going on year 3 with them, and it's been a great relationship thus far, and I think we can look forward to and expect the same with Slade Nation. You know, it's a well-run club, or Slade Nation would be more of an organization, but it's really well-run from the top, and I think that's kind of, you know, what we look for in the groups that we partnership, you know, in this realm of fishing clubs is it's got to kind of align with the things that we hold dear to us, if you will, and you know, Five Alive has a very tight brotherhood of anglers and just a really tight knit club, and I think Slade Nation has that same feel. So I'm excited to get this thing rolling with you guys. It's really cool because, you know, at the base level of what we do for the Bass University is essentially our business model is teaching people how to fish. And in order to do that, to tap into, you know, your customer base of teaching people how to fish, you got to go back to the absolute grassroots of fishing, which is the club level, which is, you know, connecting with the anglers that are just entering the sport, and they truly need, you know, the information that we can provide to them. So, you know, aligning ourselves with clubs like Slade Nation and Five Alive, it's really, I think it's good for the sport in a whole, is being able to give back and teach, and ultimately, I think that's how you grow something. Is I think education is always going to be the biggest platform in order to grow something, and I think we can all agree that the growth of fishing is good for all of us, I would say. So,
yeah, it definitely has grown. It has grown a lot in the last few years, and I know you guys are growing, Frankie. And I wonder if you have this information off the top of your head, because we talked about the Five Alive biggest bass. What was the biggest bass come across the tournament trail for you guys this year?
And you know what? It's so funny you asked me that, because I was just talking about that today. I said, I wonder if that will come up tonight. And here's the difference between, right, the big boat world. You guys go by pounds, right?
Pounds,
the biggest bass. And we do catch, photo, release. So we go by inches length. And you ready for this? A 25 3/4 largemouth out of Florida that came in at 10 and something. 10 and something. It was our Florida small boat director, Lionel, little Tommy, with the biggest fish of the year.
Little T.
Tank.
Little teasy.
Tank. Yeah, little teasy. Yeah, that was the biggest fish that came on the board. And behind that was like a 24 and something. So any of the kayak guys out there watching right now probably are smiling because they know about that 25 3/4 crap.
Wow. That's like an inch above the second place guy, you know?
Yeah, that's a big one.
I know. Yeah. It's so funny. We got to come to terms with that bass angler, because we you know, I got my Rapala scale, and I'm measuring ounces, and I can't correlate that to the length, but we got to find a way to do that so that it makes sense for us to understand. Man, a 25 3/4 inch bass is a double-digit fish.
Oh yeah, it was huge. He caught it in a tournament too. In one of his Slade tournaments. It was his first cast. I think it was Lake Kissimmee, I believe. And yeah, I got that text pretty quick.
Wow.
That was a big one. But I also want to say, I've heard a lot of I just want to give a shout out to Five Alive, because I got some buddies that fish that as well. And I've heard nothing but really good things about y'all. So whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Right on. They do something pretty cool, man. They really do.
Yep. And so do you, Frankie, and I appreciate you. And everybody, you know, we put all this information out so you guys can go check them out. And
appreciate it.
And I appreciate you coming hanging out with us and being part of the Bass University family, man. It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Sorry for the little camera fail there earlier. I didn't realize I was on with y'all, to be honest with you, because I wasn't sure. And I was like, I hope they didn't see that. And then I saw you log me out. I'm like, yeah, I was on. And then, so I was like, it's funny.
That was amazing. You got to walk me through what happened, because what we saw was like pandemonium, man. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
So I'm gonna show you. You know, some of you guys, you know this thing. You know what that thing is?
Yeah, you got better lighting than our studio.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. So, that the little tripod, whatever, it fell over. That was about it. Excuse me. Yeah. So that was that. But I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. And I always love you guys. Always watching. Always watching.
You're the best, Frank. I appreciate what you're doing for fishing, man.
Yeah, thanks. We're trying, man. If you don't mind, can I give a few shout outs here?
To BTC, go ahead, bud.
The mic is yours.
Yeah,
the mic is mine, baby.
Yeah, make it strong.
Give me the mic so I can break it away. All right, title sponsors. Want to give a great shout out. We got Monster Bass Company, 22 title sponsor. Wicked Weights out of Jersey, baby. What up, Jimmy Sperone? We got a brand new apparel company, Hook Set Hoodlums. Ride with us or collide with us. My buddy Jesse down in South Carolina, the John Yacht. Go check him out. Sticks Fishing. That's right. Travis Moran, Nick the Informative Fisherman. Let's go. And then our 6th title sponsor, brand new bait company, not even launched yet, coming out in January out of Connecticut. And I cannot wait to show you guys these baits because I know you're going to be all over them. Think of JDM style stuff, but out of Connecticut. All right. Viking Eyewear, RoboHawk, the Bass Juice, Outdoorsman Coffee. Go get yourself some OCC. Slade Nation got their own blend. It's called the Slayer Select. Let's go. Go get some. Slay 15. 15% off. Onyx Life Best, Harmony Fishing, Tech Baits, Martin's Custom Baits, Riverwise Fishing, Line Cutters, and Zico Shoes. Don't be a geek, yo. Get some Zicos. P-Line, Veterans Fishing, Grey Goat Lures, Omnia Fishing, brand new sponsor for next year. Y'all know the llama. Go check out Omnia Fishing. Z-Bait Company, Naughty Fish Outfitters, Stretching Lines, Angler Gears. We got Tourney Tag, Save Your Outdoors, A Dose of Real. So A Dose of Real, little Tommy who caught that 25 3/4, that's his company. He does real repairs. Right? Cat 3 Tackle. What you guys know about Cat 3 Tackle? You know about that yet?
Is that Daniel's? That Daniel's company?
Daniel.
Cat 3 Tackle. It's that little prop you can put in the front of a chatterbait or a crankbait. Yeah, check it out. Cat 3 Tackle. When you watch it, Riz, I already know you. The camera view right now was on you. By the way, nice trim on the beard, by the way. And then my boy's Poe Bassin. So there you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That I got to be honest, I've been around this sport a long time. That was the best sponsor shout out I have ever heard.
I told you he's the hype man. That's a Flavor Flav ain't got nothing.
That's what it's all about. I got to give a shout out to my boy Paulie at Paulie Narducci Outdoors. Let's go.
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that.
That was great.
Send some of that Slayer Select our way with a side of whiskey. That'd be good.
Ooh, I can do that. I can make that happen. I'll make that happen.
We'd love to have. Hey, thank you so much, man. Good luck this year. We're going to be watching, participating, and so glad to have you with us, man. Thanks again for coming on tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. Have a great night. Happy holidays. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Woo! What up, Slayers? Had to do it, babies. See y'all later.
Frankie Provolone. Thank you, man. That was pretty awesome. All the pro staffs out there in the world need to pay attention to how Frankie gives love to his sponsors, man. That's pretty special. JK, are you paying attention? You're gonna have to do that next year.
No. I only want Frankie doing that. I don't want nobody else doing that. So Frankie do that. Everybody else, knock it off.
He's legit. You can't fake that kind of stuff.
It's for real.
That's some hype. I like that. I like it with me everywhere I go.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, he's legit.
Right.
Too.
I can see a spot for him with us at the Classic. Come on. Ride with us or collide with us. Let's go.
Yeah. No kidding. That guy can sign some guys up for Bass UTV.
Yeah.
Sporting his big clock.
Oh, man.
He has to wear a clock next year, dude. He's got to do it.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff, man. We appreciate him being on. Had a lot of fun. I see some questions coming up. Riz, do you have any pulled aside? I see one I want to answer right now.
Go ahead, Pete. Let it fly.
Yeah, I'm going to go back. We're talking about. I just pulled a Joe
Pulled a Frankie.
Frankie provolone.
Little dodgeball.
I saved it. Just barely. But Davey, the Susquehanna. Oh, what? Wait a minute. Davey's got a question about what river are you fishing? Now we got to go back. Pete, I know you're a river rat at heart. I am fishing shallow river. I smash smallies from spring through the summer. I jump on the struggle bus this time of year. What are some pointers for targeting river smallmouth in the winter? Shallow rivers, any info, greatly appreciate. Davey, and I know there's already some guys weighing in on this, but I want to weigh in. And I gotta say, the blade bait is one of the killer tools to use on river smallmouth when the water temperature gets cold. That's definitely going to be one of the first ones that you're going to want to play with. There's going to be really 3 baits techniques that come to mind when you're dealing in cold water smallmouth in river scenarios, and blade bait's definitely going to be there. A jerk bait, that bait can be effective deep into the 30s, really. So that's going to be one. And swim baits. Swim baits continue to play for smallmouth through the cold water season. One of the techniques, and I got to be honest, I'm using this because of my boys that do fish the Susquehanna a lot. The Alabama rig can be a big player in shallow river smallmouth fishing. So there's some of my tools, but don't give up on that blade bait in shallow water. We fish it here in ultra shallow stuff, a foot or less.
Ned.
But that can definitely be a big weapon, and the jerk bait just continues to shine. So thanks for the question. Thanks all you guys for hanging out and answering that question.
Cold water river smallmouth.
Yep. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, I was wondering where like Ned rig and little finesse like crawl. It's just
awesome.
Pete, I just want to I'm gonna register a complaint. I got a problem with it. Jerk bait, A rig, and what was the other? And come on.
And the silver buddy.
Yeah. Well, we need some bottom contact.
Yeah. Well, they're all good. I mean, those hair. I mean, you want to go through the gamut? I'll give you the whole list. I mean, you go through the hair jig is a tremendous tool. The bottom bouncing stuff. A lot of times in that shallow water river stuff, you got to be conscious of being able to move and drift because you got the heavy current. And but the Ned rig is one that honestly, it's not one that I have a lot of experience in that scenario. I weighed in my first bass on the Ned rig this year in tournament competition, but it is proven to be. I hear it over and over again from guys that are in the know that are connected with me that bait is delivering bites in cold water for both largemouth and smallmouth, which is a really big deal. So I agree, no doubt, BTC, you got to hit the whole arsenal, but those were my 3 tops coming out of the gate. And I see you, JK, what do you got?
Oh, I want to follow up, but first I want to make sure we give that subscriber question a prize, but man, I want to help follow up his question because you gave some great tools right there. Some of them, I learned a lot there. I don't have a lot of river smallmouth experience, but are these fish like in the current? Like I know smallmouth current, but we're talking cold water, but also I know smallmouth love cold water. Are these fish hiding? Are they getting away from the current? Are they in the current? How do you find these fish this time of year? Shallow water river smallmouth in the cold.
Well, they're going to be. Current seems continue to dominate, and current eddies. It's amazing. Here's the one thing that I've learned about winter fishing, cold water fishing. 30 years ago we were like Rich Snyder. Remember, Craig? Like Rich was teaching the strategy, when they get into the wintering areas, that's it, right? They're in Dredge Harbor on the river that we fish, and that's it. And they're going to be there all winter long. Well, what I found is that the bait moves. The bait will continue to move, even in cold water scenarios for security, for food, I don't really know why in some instances,
Right.
but you can go into what we thought were wintering areas, deep, steeper, rocky areas with low flow. And we would think that the fish would just be there all winter long, but the bait moves and and the bass, the predators go right with it. They go wherever the bait
They
goes.
move, in my estimations, based upon what I've seen, just on our local Delaware River, they're still moving. They're still traveling great distances in lower 40s, mid to lower 40s.
And it's surprising that they'll move. They move under the ice. The bait just moves. Maybe because it's tired of getting fed upon, and it decides to leave. They might, run out of food source, and they got to move. I don't know, but wherever that bait goes, the bass go.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
But it's it's surprising. But in the current situations, it's always like they're not going to be in the extreme current. They're going to be in the lesser current. They're going to be in the breaks. They're going to be where it slightly minimizes in a river system. Unless they have backwaters like they do in some of our river systems. But generally speaking, it's going to be in the areas where there's just slightly less flow. And that's what we're going to be looking for in those situations. JK, I don't know if that answers your question or not. That's my thoughts on the issue.
Yeah, cool. That helps a lot.
What about the Red River in cold water? What is your go-to method? Man, I've fished in the Red. The Red is
that where you fell in, Pete?
No.
Okay.
I've fallen in the Lake Champlain and the Northeast River. They're the only two places I've ever fallen in.
False.
False?
That's a lie.
Oh, that is a lie. Holy mackerel. You actually listened to the show, Brian?
Been here, dude. 8 years.
All right, now we need to know where you fell in.
I forgot about that. I fell into the Red River.
Thank you.
God,
hold on. Get the camera back on me, Rich. Go round of applause or some shit. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Dude, that was awesome. That was the one where Dean Rojas cheated. And,
Go ahead, Peter.
Go ahead.
Go on.
I knew that would bait you right in.
Oh,
but no, he was fit. He was caught fishing fishing in an off limits area, and he thought he didn't know it was off limits, but
it happens.
It was an off limits area, and I was he was dominating the tournament fishing there, clearly, but I was hanging in second, and I'll never forget, I went through this trough in early spring, cold water on the Red River, and I was flipping and pitching around dead lily pad stalks, and it was a dominant technique for me. It was a drain, a trough that went up to the bank. These fish were early pre-spawn, and I went through the area where I had been catching them limits every day going up, and I fished up there, and I didn't catch a fish. I turned around, looked at the ESPN cameras because that's who was covering the tournaments at the time, and I said I'm going to turn around and fish right back up here. And I was standing on my trolling motor bracket because I thought I was nimble back then, and I stepped off, and I stepped right into the Red River up to my neck, right on camera, right in about 50-degree water. I don't remember what it was, but I'm like, I never forget it because I was like, the air sucked out of my lungs because the water was cold, and I reached up because I saw something coming, and I thought it was a hand to help me back in the boat, and it was actually the ESPN camera lens, making sure he got the shot.
Where is that footage?
Riz, you better not get that shot, or maybe you better get that shot if it happens again. But anyway, that's funny that you remember that, BTC. But I did fall in the water there. But yeah, I remember fishing around the lily pad stalks, and you got standing timber, and you have riprap. Those are really your choices on the Red through the early season. And I've never been there in the winter, but I've been in there very, very early spring. And those were the dominant patterns and techniques down there. So great question. Rich, you got one ready for us?
I do. I got Sebastian. Sebastian wants to know, what is the best all-around color for this time of year in very stained water? There is not a crawfish population if we're chasing, or if the main bait is bluegill. What is the best all-around color for stained water?
Where's he at? What part of the country? What water tank?
Didn't specify.
Come on, Sebastian. Sebastian University.
The best all-around color for stained water for a bluegill pattern.
Yellow.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna give an answer to this, and I know who I'm gonna throw it to next. But when you're dealing with bluegill, it's green pumpkin is your base color, for me. But one of the keys is the chartreuse tails that exist on bluegill. Yeah. And JK, you just use that color combination to a T. And I want you to explain that because that was an amazing adjustment you made to finish second place this weekend, matching the bluegill the bluegill population.
I did, yeah. We kind of Matt ended up catching a bluegill on a crankbait and had made some comments that he thought they were on bluegill, and we were fishing some deeper docks, and we had caught a couple on a jig but missed a few. And dude, I didn't do anything to my jig. I didn't switch jig. I didn't do anything to my trailer except pull out some chartreuse dye and dip it because it looked like a crawfish, a dark crawfish imitation, green pumpkin, But then I dipped it in bluegill, and it's like that was all enough. And I had one of those jig clinics that you just love because, you get around it, you flip in there, and boom, I don't know how many 2.5 pounders I caught this week, but it was quite a few. And Matt got in on the party there too. And we just had a great day. I was texting you updates, and I think the ticker started going up after I made that change pretty fast, from, I don't know if our base limit was 11 or 12 to start out, but we, got up to 18 pounds and almost came in one with that. We were catching them different ways in the morning. We caught a couple vertical and one on a spinnerbait, and catching shad eaters, in the morning. And then we got around thinking we were just gonna catch crawfish eaters because that's what happens. But dude, I'm telling you, they were on bluegill. And to go answer this guy's question, I've got a big time opinion on this. When he's talking about stained water, I don't know where you're at, and I know this color has been known to work in a lot of different water clarities, but for me, this is when I love Fire Tiger. I love Fire Tiger when they're on bluegill and stained water down around my parts. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's just the bars or the lines, sometimes they're different. The Fire Tiger patterns are different. But just those bright green back with the chartreuse sides and the orange belly. It's to me, that's bluegill and stained water. And I know it's a lot of different, I've seen it work in a lot of different watercolors, but that will work in this time of year too, throughout the cold stained water for me.
It's funny that chartreuse and Fire Tiger is chartreuse components to it. And that's a big color when it comes to mimicking bluegill. So great question. We're going to hook you up with a prize, and we've got a grand prize that we're going to be giving away. Rich, are you going to be given this question, or is BTC who's asking this question?
Well, Pete, you know what? I think I'm actually going to let you ask the question because it's going to apply to you. It's going to apply to some of your vertical fishing techniques. And you mentioned it.
I may have already forgotten it.
Well, no, I don't think you have. I know the answer as well as you do. But I'll go ahead and say it. What is Pete's blade bait rod, reel, line setup? What is Pete's full equation for his blade bait fishing? We need rod, reel, and line setup. Okay, that means he's got maybe two different types of line. I don't know. Maybe one type of line on there. I don't know. But what is his rod, reel, line setup for his blade bait fishing? So that's the grand prize trivia question. That's going to be for a $150 TH Marine prize pack.
Shout out to TH Marine. Who was it? Was it you, JK, that was telling me about the hot foot and the importance of the hot foot in your fishing this year? No, I guess
I don't know if I told you importance, but I told you about how my spring
broke
came loose. Yeah.
On your hot foot? Yeah, that happened to me last year. I fished with it like that for like 3 weeks.
But I was able to get it fixed really quick and get back to business. But it freaked me out for a little bit.
You just use your foot to pull it back with the bar, right?
No, you had to pull it back to stop, but then I had to. My spring broke, and thankfully I had another one somehow. I can't remember, and got it fixed. But,
I was thinking of somebody. I can't remember who was talking to me about driving through rough water.
It was on the Delaware, Pete.
No, that was you, CD.
We got a winner.
Yeah,
we got a winner already.
So quick.
And I got to give this. This is so perfect. And if somebody did get it before you, I'm still going to give it to you. I didn't see, somebody else got it, but Dale Jr. is the winner. Yeah. Dale Jr. just became a dad this weekend.
Yes.
Had himself Dale Jr. I heard the kid was born with a beard. You heard it here first. It was truly amazing. Modern marvel. His son was born with a beard. Dale Jr., 300 size reel, 7.6 rod, 12-pound gamma to 10-pound braid. Nailed it. Pete?
Nice. Well done, Dale. And you're looking sharp with that trimmed beard. You got that under control for the birth of your firstborn. That's pretty good. That's awesome. Congratulations. And you're right. I remember now. You were talking about the hot foot and how you had to battle the extreme conditions on the Delaware, CD.
Yeah.
And how you'd never have a boat without it again.
Now,
and I'm in your camp, man.
I want to weigh in on this.
Have it.
I want to weigh in on this one here because I'm the non-hot foot guy.
Yeah.
Because I bought a boat from Ike.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Well, let's CD tell his story about driving through monster waves with like 50-mile-an-hour straight line winds.
Yeah.
And massive wind against the tide, and how you were able to get back and how it helped you.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I was with you there, Riz. I had a lot of boats before without a hot foot. It took a little while to get used to it, especially like in tight quarters and idling around and stuff. But once you got used to it, it's fine. But it was a game changer, in the Delaware. That storm that came through on that 5 Live event, it was literally the perfect storm. I mean, 2 o'clock, everybody's making a run back for the Wayne at 3, and this thing just blows up on the river where it blew straight up, and people were clocking 30, 40 mile an hour wind. The tide was low and still dropping, and it just pushed these waves. I didn't see anything like it, man. I was in troughs that I had to just climb the wave and then decelerate, slide down, and doing 40. I felt like a big Zara spook out there doing 45, and, and taking on water and but having that hot foot was really critical for me. It kept my hands on the steering wheel. I was taking on water, and just being able to accelerate what I needed to accelerate up the side, up the wave, and then just slide down, down and I don't know. I guess I could have done it with my hand on the throttle, but it just felt so much more comfortable, with a hot foot.
2 hands on the steering wheel.
With your hands on the steering wheel. I mean, I was holding on for dear life, honestly. Every
nasty.
wave
I was there. Rich was there. It was bad. I heard 40 knots, which is close to 50 mile an hour, I believe.
Wow.
And that was again up the river, wind against tide, and it's a 6 mile an hour tide or so. It was
bad.
It's bad.
Dude, I was down at Commodore, and I came out of Graveyard down there, and when I came out,
you could see the waves. River, like you could see the waves before you even got close to the main river. Like they were that big. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I literally just started. I turned around, and took everything off. Like my boat looked like it was for sale. I put everything away, like everything away. And I took the first one over, came over, hit me in the chest, like just my sunglasses came apart. I was like, holy crap, man, this is going to be a rough one.
Oh yeah.
I
looked at my partner coming out of the mouth of Darby, went under the bridge, and I could see how big the waves were from the mouth of Darby. Like I was that far away, and I could already see how tall they were. And I looked at Jim, and I was like, "There's nothing I can do. This is gonna suck. Like it's not gonna. There's no way that this is not gonna suck." So
I had some fish in the box, so I was at one point I'm thinking, oh, I want to get back and weigh them in. But then at another point I was like, I just want to get back, like I'm hoping I make the weigh in. I really want to make the weigh in. But then, my partner, Jeff, he's, been in the river for years and years. And he told me, and he's older than us, Pete. He told me that was the roughest that he's ever seen it.
Shout out to Jeff.
Yeah, man. We were coming out of, he was coaching me on every wave. Oh, good job. He was like really into it. Well, we got up towards Tinicum Island, where Darby is. And he told me to run in the back shot, just run the no wake, like where all the sailboats are.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it got smaller. It got like 3 or 4 footers back there. So I was able to go a little faster. And
I got to be honest, in an emergency situation, you got to take that route, even though it was a no wake zone, man. I mean,
it was blowing up
you got
back
to take
there.
that route.
It was blowing up back there. So I couldn't go real fast anyway. It just helped. But coming around the front of Tinicum Island again and seeing those, 5 or 6 footers again, I was like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
That's a good point, man. Like we didn't. I came from further south than you guys a little bit, and we didn't go behind the island. And
neither did I.
No, and that's a clutch veteran move call by you guys to do that. And for people listening, talk about blowing a no wake. It's wide. It's wide as hell down there.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's huge.
What was being stirred up by Mother Nature was
nothing in comparison.
Yeah, it was way worse than what I was able to do. I wasn't contributing.
Your stuff wasn't showing up. But
yeah,
that's a heads up call. And like you said, Pete, in an emergency situation, your responsibility is to save your life.
Yeah,
you're damn right. All bets are off. No wake zones don't exist. Nothing exists. You need to make the right call in small craft warnings to keep you and your partner safe. And that was the right call in that situation.
So we got up to the Navy Yard, and in that area, it just, the banks are all concrete and harder, so the waves get really unpredictable. It's like a washing machine. You're getting so much reverb and back and forth.
Not to mention the tugboats were running like a 3 an hour schedule on the same day.
Supply chain issues, Riz. They're running.
They were moving that day.
I saw the Coast Guard ship, the big Coast Guard ship coming, and the Coast Guard helicopters. I saw Philly Fire Rescue, and I didn't know what was going on. The whole river was just like freaking out. There was emergency vehicles everywhere. And the only time that I've ever seen that is when we have a jumper, off a bridge, you'll see the place just go crazy, and come to find out, that's when those guys had that mishap. They weren't in the tournament, but, we lost some lives that day. And we were right there in where the Schuylkill comes in, that national park. And, I mean, that's literally how bad it was, dude. I mean, it was crazy. The guys were coming in with their boats pouring, just pulled apart. Somebody stayed in Darby, I heard. And
somebody
Ubered
got
back
a
to
ride
the ramp.
from Darby.
Yeah, he caught. Yeah. He was where you were, Rich. Poked his head out, saw those waves, turned around, went back, and got an Uber, 25 miles up or so to
his truck, and
his truck,
drove his truck back over there. But I was out on that same tournament, obviously, Craig, and I can't. I don't want to pretend like I'm this guy that's been out in these for a million times, but I did come over to the freshwater world from the saltwater world.
Right.
And the one thing that I learned over there in my younger years, I got exposed to some really, really nasty stuff in the saltwater tournament fishing scene when I was young. And my one takeaway was always just the keep calm, take things for what they are, know what's going on around you, but you can't panic. You scoop a wave. Okay. Make sure both my manual bilges are on. Don't let the situation around you influence your decisions to where you're, ultimately going to make your situation that worse off. Like, don't compound a bad situation. And ultimately, like you said, it goes from getting back with my fish to just getting back. Like, you're
Right.
not thinking about, I'm not thinking about getting from Gloucester to Derby or from Derby to Gloucester. I'm thinking about getting over the wave that's in front of me.
The next wave. You
and
take one wave
sure,
at a time.
and making sure that
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit a telephone pole in the process. And you take each one second by second, minute by minute, and eventually you get to your destination. You're going to be sore. You're going to get wet. You're going to have a kinked up neck. But just take things as they come. Don't try to do too much in the moment. And usually you can you can take those situations on and come out just fine. But I want to just kind of share my 2 cents on the hot foot hand throttle deal. And I think that both of these things, they have their advantages and disadvantages. And I went from having a bass boat with a hot foot to going to a bass boat without a hot foot, and no doubt about it, the advantage to having 2 hands on the steering wheel is paramount. You can't deny that. But what I will say is that going from both now, there is definitely a difference in the responsiveness in your motor to when you're bringing your hand throttle back, decelerating the motor, as opposed to bringing your foot back and waiting for a spring to disengage your throttle. There's a big difference in the response time on, using your hand on the throttle and controlling how much you come back, and using your foot. I think everybody's hands are probably more educated than their feet are, as having a feel type of deal.
It's more responsive.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
It's more responsive. And then the other thing that I noticed, in that situation, and this is just my take, I'm not trying to convince anybody to go either way, is that on a body of water like the Delaware, we're not only dealing with 4 to 5 to 6 foot waves, we also have to worry about the debris that's on the other side of the wave. In that situation, there could be trees, there could be boats, there could be anything. And for me in that situation, being able to get my one knee up on the seat and get, an extra 2 feet up high to be able to see over the crest of those waves before I went down the other side, for me that helped a lot. But ultimately, it's not about any of that. It's about just, taking your time, not getting in a rush, and making sure your safety precautions are in line before you even get in that situation. Having
I actually saw a refrigerator when I was out there.
Yeah.
That day?
The refrigerator floated by.
But
you're right. Like, luck favors the prepared, right? So,
Right.
If your boat is not tip top, you're not doing the things you need to do, there's going to be so many structural, electrical stresses, and it's going to expose you right then and there.
My Triton would have sunk.
Oh yeah.
That day. My old boat.
Well,
would've sunk.
JK, I can see you listening intently, because you're about to battle some big water on the MPFLs this year, and these are what you're hearing are some lessons that really are everybody needs to listen to. And Craig, I like that last statement. Luck favors the prepared, because you need to be prepared. You need to clean your bilges. You need to make sure that your bilges are all operational. You need to take time and tighten down everything in your boat. Especially when you go through a day like you guys went through that day, all the screws, the bolts, you can't imagine. When I was up at Thousand Islands, Ike and me and John McGraw, we had our boats there, and I had been practicing for a few days on the big water. We hadn't seen big waves, but you're bucking and going through the waves, and I wanted to tighten all my bolts on the boat, and I could not believe how many turns I got on my mounting bolts.
Wow.
Like they I mean, I could not believe it. I'm like, I'm going again. Like, things loosen up. And I got to tell you, this experience on Lake St. Clair in Michigan with the big waves, big nasty waves. And I didn't know this lesson then. And I'm bucking through these big waves, and the boats that are bucking weirdly and oddly, and I couldn't figure out what was going through the boat, and the waves was hitting bottom. And I looked back, and my top bolts on my mounting plate had sheared.
Good Lord.
Had sheared, and my motor was going slap,
Oh my God.
slap. Every time I bucked in the wave, the motor would
my
slap
God.
the transom. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't believe it. And Mike McClellan, shout out to Mike McClellan, Bass University instructor. He towed me in that day, or actually brought me and my fish in that day. And but what I learned that day, 20 plus years ago, was, man, you can't let any looseness exist in those bolts, because it will grow. It will grow with every wave buck until it'll shear those stainless steel bolts, or pull them through the transom, even worse. And that's the same with your outboard or your trolling motor. And it was great. Yeah, it's funny comment, Craig, like you look like your boat was for sale, everything was off. And it's a great thing to do is to take your sonar off, take all that stuff off if you can, get it out of the way, because you're gonna stick one, and 100 gallons of water is going to come piling over the boat. Mike Mike loaned me this on Thousand Islands, because he knew I was going out to the big water, and he was going to stay in the river, and he has a spare bilge that he keeps with him, that he puts in the floor of the boat, or in the bilge area, which is a heavy duty industrial bilge with an extra pump. So if you're going out into the big water, man, just be prepared for it. And that's some great advice. So sad, and thoughts and prayers go out to the two men that lost their lives that day. They were not in the fishing tournament, but they were just out maybe fishing, doing their thing, and they got caught up into some serious storms. There were three of them that went out, and only one of them was rescued. So that's what Craig was talking about when the Coast Guard was out and helicopters were out. And,
they came to our way, and they thought they were part of our group, and
Right.
since we had boats missing, I think we had 3 that were late.
Yeah.
It got confusing about, how to respond to that for them. I was out a week later, out with Pat came up from college, and we went out, and they locked down the ramp there. They had it shut off. So we launched up in Woodbury Creek and went out, and there's people still out there looking. It's sad, just to talk to people. Those are some volunteer fire guys and stuff. Just awful, I can't imagine. I really can't. I mean, it's just tragic.
Don't leave the dock without as many life vests in your boat as people that you're going to have in it.
Yeah. You're right. Kill switch and life vests and all that. I mean, it's I
don't want to get pulled over by the DNR. No, that's not the deal. You want to have life jackets in there to protect the lives of the people that are in your boat.
I can tell you this. So this past weekend, I went down to Maryland with my little boat, right, and fished an electric only lake. I'm in a 500-acre lake, a 16-foot tracker with a 5-horse Torpedo on the back. Never been to this lake before. It was cool. It's fun to fish somewhere where you've never been, and I really enjoyed the day. But there was one point we're out there, and my buddy Tom, I grew up with, he's in the back of the boat, and he's got the Torpedo. We're running wide open, baby. We're cranking 6-7 miles an hour, which is pretty good. And I'm sitting on the front. I'm on the front deck tying baits on. We're going into this creek arm, and we're like in the middle of the creek arm, and we hit in 40 feet of water, and we hit a tree. Never been there. Didn't know that kind of thing existed there, but apparently they cut tree stumps off, just below the water. But had I been standing up in the boat, which is a viable thing to do when you're in an aluminum boat, and you're only going 6 miles an hour, which is, I could have got launched in the water wearing bibs and all that gear.
Oh yeah,
dude, that's curtains, man. That could be it. You know what I mean? you don't have a kill switch on your trolling motor, you know, and if you got the trolling motor on constant and get tossed, that could be it. But yeah, there was a tree that was out there in 40 foot, cut below the surface. We didn't hit with the troll motor, but just off the side of the boat. The boat. What? Yeah. So.
Well, man, Craig, man, thanks for
happen.
sharing that story with us, man. That's eye opening, and I think that's going to help a lot of people, man. You know, and have you recovered from your fight with your wife? Has she let you off the hook for making that trip back when she's like, you should have called for an Uber too?
No, seriously, I think she's right, and you should stop fishing the Delaware River, Craig.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
Enough's enough. Knock it off. Go back to work. You're a grown
No,
up. You got a family. You got a business. Get off the damn river. Knock it off. Be an adult.
I had enough for the win, you know, but she wasn't too happy with the win. You know what I mean?
Had it with you winning on the Delaware, Craig.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, it's all good, and you know we gotta learn to respect it. And like Riz said, you gotta be
respect the water.
Patient. You gotta be patient, and you gotta not panic. And it's a hard thing to do, but I mean you gotta kind of get in the moment and realize what you're dealing with, and you gotta have that respect.
Well, yeah, water
just,
will take you out of the game really quick.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, great lessons, and you know, it's great that you won the Rookie of the Year, brother. Man, that's a great
that was
year.
cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
What a cool group of guys. Talking about Five Live, you know, and talking about running a business, they run that organization so well. That was what I was really impressed with. It's like they take care of themselves. They have all these opens. They have all these events. They have all these things that manage that club to reward people that are participating and make it exciting. You know, just the fact that they have a classic, they have 12 guys who go to a lake that they determine, you know, to have. So everybody's battling to do that, and it's just that's the difference, I think, with them. I mean, what are they, 130 people or something? But it's like it's the way the president, you know, Tim, the way he runs it, Dave, Rich, those guys, they pay attention to the details, and they put a lot of time and effort into it. It's really run like a business, but a fun business. You know, that's how I have to put it.
Yeah,
it's
well,
you know,
it's great. It's great to see all you guys participate. We're glad to be part of it, and appreciate you hanging out with us. You know, we tried to get you on a couple weeks ago, you know, but things didn't work out. Storms came up, you know, big waves. You know, we had to postpone our show.
That's cool.
But I'm glad you were able to be with us tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. And BTC, do we have anything else on the agenda before we got to roll?
Yeah, so we just got a Facebook like and share. I got that.
Okay.
I got that queued up here. Guys, if you haven't liked and shared the feed, you got about 45 seconds to do that or so before we call it. It's going to be for an awesome $50 Bash University sponsorship prize pack. And guys, if you haven't signed up yet, don't forget we got some virtual seminars going on next week down at Gville, one of my favorite places in the world, after I got to visit there this past summer with none other than the professional fish head. He showed me around the neighborhood, if you will, down there at Guntersville, and we had some fun, got to lean on a few. And so we're going back there. We're going to be there the 14th and the 15th. We got Matt Lee, Jordan Lee, Randy Howell on day one, and then Jesse Wiggins, Pete Glusek, and Klebian Johns on day two. If you're a Bash TV subscriber, it's only $1 to get signed up. That's 99 cents. 99 cents. Not even a full dollar. We're not even going to charge you a fully. We're just going to charge you 99 cents. That's just so that we can process it and have your information to get you on the Zoom link. If you're not a BUTV member, you can still get signed up. It's going to be $49.99 to be a part of our virtual seminar, guys, and you get direct access to the best anglers in the world. Literally talking to them on a Zoom line, asking them questions during the seminar. It's a really, really cool interactive way to learn more about the sport that we all love. But for now, I'll quit gabbing and I'll get to this Facebook like and share winner.
Yep.
Might have just broke my laptop. The Facebook like and share winner for tonight is Scott Sikowitz. Scott Sikowitz, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, but congratulations. You won tonight's Facebook like and share.
Thank you, Scott.
I'll be sending you a message. Please respond to me with your mailing information so that we can get you that prize in the mail. So it's been a fun show and a lot of good feedback just here in the last 15, 20 minutes about the boating safety conversation that we just had. I think it's something that's important. It probably doesn't get talked about a ton, but it definitely is worth something to be talked about from time to time. So.
Well, all the time. I mean, guys, you got to take that seriously. And Craig, once again, I appreciate you sharing that story with us. And thanks everybody for being on the show tonight. Thank you, Frankie Provolone and the Slade Nation. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Guys, go check them out and participate in their tournaments all over the country. Great organization. Glad to be partnered with them as well as Five Alive. And thanks, everybody. Thank you, JK, Professional Fish Ed. I will be catching up with you real soon. We're going to be next time I see you is going to be down your neck of the woods, down in Alabama. And,
Live.
Yep. Look forward to seeing you down there. By the way, the link for tickets to the Zoom and the upcoming events in both Gadsden, Alabama, and South Carolina are all available there. So put those links in the IM, and if you're on Facebook or watching us on YouTube elsewhere, go over to thebashuniversity.com and you can find tickets to all of our upcoming stuff. BTC, thanks for putting the show together. Appreciate you, brother. Riz, thank you so much for all you do. And we're going to catch up with you guys next week on Bass University Live. Have a great night, everybody.